there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of the 380 people who consider Lee Johnson their home.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto Family.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Mission accomplished. Yes, the Seahawks had some tense moments in New England, but came away winners and start the season 2-0. Not as easy as week 1. Patriots came to play. They were pretty physical. They ran the ball. They stopped the run. But the Seahawks defense, they had an excellent game, I thought. I know there were some issues in the first half. They got them cleaned up. No takeaways this time. They shut down the passing game. They rushed the quarterback well. They got off the field on 3rd down when they needed to. Throw in a little help from special teams. And, yes, this one from the offense.
Now Gino slows everything down again. Charbonnet is lined up wide to the near side. And in the slot is DK Metcalf. Motion back inside his fan. Blitz is coming. Gino's going to let it fly. DK's wide open. 10, 5, strides in, touchdown, Seahawks. The Seahawks got just what they wanted. They got a blitz and single coverage, and DK Metcalf ran right past the secondary. Wide open, Gino laid it on him. A 56-yard touchdown strike, and we're a point away from being tied here in Foxborough.
Yeah, that was pretty good offense with 200-yard receivers, both of them in double digits for catches on the day. That was the most explosive, but it wasn't the only great thing. It was a good complimentary game, cut for Mike McDonald.
This is a great example of this game of, hey, when the offense needs to pick the defense up, they did it. When defense could help the offense by getting a critical stop because we weren't able to get the ball in negative territory, we got the stop. So that's what you have to play complementary football.
Well, not just that. How about the special teams? A huge blocked kick, and then obviously Jason Myers with the 31-yarder to win it. Dolphins will be up next. They're going to start Skylar Thompson, so you kind of like your chances in that one at home. Niners lose yesterday to Minnesota? Did that really happen? Cardinals destroy the Rams. Seahawks now sitting alone in first place. Niners and Cards are 1-1. Rams 0-2. Crazy start to this NFL season.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, well, Mariners certainly took care of business this weekend. They did it in 3 completely different styles. Friday, straight up shocking, right? After playing one of those lifeless, predictable, no offense games that we've seen all season, all of a sudden they turn it around late with Julio doing damage.
Waggles that bat around. Now the set by Robertson, and the 1-1 pitch. Julio swinging a drive deep to right field. Way back. Where's it going to land? Upper deck. Goodbye, baseball. Julio Rodriguez. Huge bat flip toward the dugout. A 3-run bomb into the upper deck. And the Mariners have the lead. 5-4 over the Rangers on a moonshot by Julio. His 75th career home run. He is a 75 guy with the home runs and the stolen bases. Only 1 of 2.
Yeah, how about that? That was Friday. Arozarena with the walk-off Saturday. Then you get a combined 1-hit shutout to blow out the Rangers yesterday. Yeah, that's 3 straight wins. A couple of Twins losses in there, and they're now only 2.5 back in the wild card with 12 left to play. They do have a day off at home. Then the Yankees will come in for 3. As for Julio, he's just trying to go about doing things the right way. Cut 11.
And the way that I look at it, especially that, is just you either focus on the pain or focus on the lesson. You know, I feel like you have two choices there, and I feel like for me, I know, let's say this year I have had a lot of lessons, and I feel that's what the things I've been trying to focus on the most. And you learn the most. You know, you learn the most from failures. You learn the most from missing a shot, from striking out in a big situation. I feel like when you hit a home run, everything was good. You know, everything is good. You did everything you're supposed to do. There is nothing really more than like feeling grateful for the opportunity. But when you fail and like you go through tough times, that's where other lessons come from. You know, if you really stay close to that and don't really shy away from it and trying to hide it, like, okay, you fail, okay, but now what can you do for next time to get better? Doesn't mean that next day is going to get better, but it means that you learn something that day. You know, that's going to carry on for the rest of your career and things like that, and that's what I think about it.
Pretty darn cool, special kid, and did some special things over the weekend. Houston starts a series with San Diego tonight. Twins starting one in Cleveland.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Well, I said this last week. I really do like, just as a sports fan, the revenge aspect of Saturday's win for the Cougs. Ditched by their conference, ditched by their athletic director. Their in-state brethren didn't exactly do them any favors, but in their first non-conference meeting, who gets it done? The Cougs. And not just their offense. How about the defense in the biggest moment?
Rodgers looking left, firing left, knocked away. Denzel Boston almost had it, but Stephen Hall, the captain, makes the play. Clock stops with 1:18 left. Rodgers, option, pitch, didn't get it. They stuffed him. Cal Thornton, the captain linebacker, with a game-saving play and a loss of 1.
Yeah, that's third and fourth down. They couldn't get in. That was the ball game. Cougs go on to win. Huskies fall to 2-1. They got Northwestern and kind of a soft launch of their Big Ten schedule next week. Cougs go to 3-0. They will welcome in San Jose State. That is everything you need to know. Quarter past every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. How about that? I do love just the story of revenge. You guys know me. I don't have really a dog in the fight and the Cougar Husky thing. Like, you know, again, I'm not from here originally. I don't get into college football the same way as I do pro football. But there is just something about that level of revenge. It's like John Wick, right? Like, oh, you're going to ditch me and take my AD and leave us for dead in some lousy conference with bad teams? Okay, fine. Guess what? We're better than you. Oh, you don't want to come all the way across the state and play any games in Pullman? Fine. We'll go to your side of the state and we'll beat you. I just think that's a tremendous story, just from a scriptwriter's perspective. And good on the Cougs, good on their fans for getting that done. All right. All right, more is going to take us through the weekend. Brock will be in at 7 o'clock. We will have takeaways at 8:30. Lots of good takeaways from this game. We got some Mariners stuff today as well. How close are they really to being able to get it done? We'll address at 7:30. And, of course, all building up to Mike McDonald, who joins us at 9:30 for the Mike McDonald Show. It is Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
This is Seattle Sports.
DK's wide open. 10, 5, strides in, touchdown, Seahawks.
I've never been around a quarterback who had as big of a chip on his shoulder than Gino.
Said has time. Now he's going to get hit. He's going to go down. But Leonard Williams just drove his man back, just what the doctor ordered.
This is a great example of this game of, hey, when the offense needs to pick the defense up, they did it. When defense could help the offense by getting a critical stop, we got the stop.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
Hey, you know, for years I've been recommending Riverside Roofing as the roofing company you can trust. Trust that a contractor is going to show up on the day and time that you agreed. Trust that they are going to complete the work and leave you with a brand new roof that will last. Trust Riverside Roofing will keep your yard and driveway clean of debris like nails and shingles. Trust Riverside will give you a roof at a price that it's fairly worth. Trust means everything. And when it comes to choosing a roofing company for your home or business, it should be the deciding factor. I found Riverside Roofing to be exceptional in their work, professional, and yes, trustworthy. Riverside Roofing's family-owned local company servicing Western Washington. Give them an opportunity to earn your business this fall. Riverside Roofing has worked with people at the station, listeners who I know have heard me talking about them for 6 years now. So go talk to Dawn or Brandon or Jordan or find them online at riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, yes, the roofing company you can trust.
Everybody knows home is where the heart is. But for the Mariners, home is where thousands of hearts come together all season long. It's also where the no-fly zone is.
Julio jumps, makes the catch.
Where that barehander beyond belief is.
Rojas, barehand play for him, the stretch, and they got him again.
It's where the never give up, no matter what inning it is.
Luke Rowley does it again. The Mariners are right back in it.
And where 100-plus mile-an-hour game-over magic is.
Munoz strikes out the side, and the ball game is over.
It's T-Mobile Park, where Seattle is. Mariners baseball, tried and tough.
Be here for the final stretch of the regular season at T-Mobile Park. The homestand continues with a 3-game showdown against the New York Yankees starting tomorrow night. Don't miss your chance to watch Julio and the Mariners take on Aaron Judge and the Bronx Bombers, including a special midweek matinee on Thursday at 1:10. Get your tickets today at mariners.com.
Hey football fans, with BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-ON. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and sauté. That's Desmond Howard-level versatility.
Huddle up. The food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Uh-oh, looks like your plumbing just threw a Hail Mary into the wrong end zone. But don't worry, folks. Flowhawks Plumbing and Septic is here to intercept the mess. From busted pipes to clogged drains, we've got the plays that'll turn your plumbing fumble into a winning touchdown. Why risk a penalty? Call Flowhawks, the hometown heroes who will blitz that plumbing problem before it costs you the game. Because when your pipes are on the line, we bring our A game. Talk to the Hawk, 1-800-FLOWHAWK. That's 1-800-FLOHAWK.
This is Seattle Sports.
Dixon puts it down. Myers gets it away. The Seahawks win the game.
The home of the Seahawks.
I grew up in a very angry time.
A night of comedy at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center.
You were afraid of your dad.
Friday, October 4th. Hold on tight. It's Bill Burr.
Like, I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad.
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com.
When I was a kid, it was like, Dad, run! Run!
Don't miss Bill Burr, October 4th at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Allshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody,
or your sleep.
Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock.
Pretty darn good Monday morning, huh? How about that? What a weekend in Seattle sports. Seahawks go to New England and win. Walk off on Saturday. A blowout. Was nearly a perfect game yesterday. A combined perfect game, but unfortunately one hit. Ends up breaking.
Yeah, I just did around the NFL. I feel like you guys were going to dig into more of the Mariners and the Seahawks, so we'll go turning it over on downs twice in their first 4 series. Minnesota got on the board first with this 97-yard touchdown from Sam Darnold to Justin Jefferson. And oh, there we go. I thought I didn't. This morning, here we go.
4th down and 2 for the Vikings. Darnold throws.
Too easy.
It is caught for a touchdown by Jefferson.
Going on in San Francisco and in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, all right, the Niners lose Christian McCaffrey their season, which would clearly change who that team is. You wonder if all of the things that they've tried to do eventually off-season or during training camp or preseason, does it eventually start to catch up with them? I don't know. I'm not going to say that because they lost one game to the Vikings. San Francisco is now 2-0 in this weird topsy-turvy start to this NFL season. In fact, the whole quarterback thing is a lot better and won a whole lot more games than some of the guys in this game that you think much more highly of and have much better reputations. Will that be the streaks that everything had changed?
Yeah, yep, sorry, there's been a lot going on. And the night, well, I just wasn't quite 7 Minnesota in the second half. A Brock Purdy interception set Minnesota up at the goal line, and then a subsequent Sam Darnold pass to Jalen Naylor, minutes remaining. But the Vikings extended their lead with a field goal, and the Niners end up losing 23-17. As you said, they have some stuff. Kittle was also carted off the field, but I guess that was just cramps. He had to get some hydration. So far, but it's early.
Hold on, resurgent? Don't you have to have surged in order to be resurgent? He's never been good, discounted last week because it was against the Giants, but you go out and take apart San Francisco. That was a pretty good game.
Darnold getting messy, going deep, and he's got Jefferson. He's got Jefferson. It's a foot race downfield with Brock.
Okay, that was not the right one. Sorry.
Sam Darnold against his former team. Just on your quarterback journey, when everybody decides that you cannot play, we always believed in him, and felt awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a story. We'll see how long it lasts. It's been 2 weeks. The NFL can fool you short term.
The Rams 41-10, a week after being held to just 1 catch for 4 yards in his NFL debut, rookie wide receiver Marvin Harrison of the day.
Murray on the rollout, looking deep for Harrison! Marvin Harrison Jr. to the
fantasy leagues were a little nervous after week 1, but he looks like he's going to be just fine.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's obviously incredibly talented. The thing he had going for him, all the problems that plagued him in the second half last week seemed to go away. And the Rams, on the other side of that story, Maura, have out of it. That's clearly going to matter. I know they've made some other trades and, sort of moved on from some of their bigger names.
Well, they've and I think a linebacker too. It's across the board, but definitely more so on their offensive line.
Well, they lost season in Los Angeles, which would be crazy.
Well, yeah, this is the first time the Rams have lost their first 2 games in McVay's 8 seasons there.
Wow.
They went 2 passer rating along with 60 yards rushing. So
those are words I never thought I would hear. To be perfect, could the Rams fall? So either the Rams are going to be 0-3 or the Niners are going to be 1-2. One of those things is going to be true next week.
Can't get much better for the Seahawks.
No kidding. Then you got then the Rams have the Bears, who don't look great. Then they got the Packers and Raiders. So, their schedule kind of evens out for a little while, and I'm sure they'll be okay.
Shaping up pretty well. And like you said, the Seahawks get Skylar Thompson next week. So, hopefully we're looking at 3-0. And
one of those teams is going to be
back. Mostly because Anthony Richardson struggled for the Colts and because they ran the ball on 53 of their 67 snaps for 261 rushing yards. Willis only ended up having to go 12 for 14 for 122 yards and a touchdown. Richardson, meanwhile, was 17 for 34 for 240. He had to call an audible for a pretty gross reason. Here is Coach Matt LaFleur explaining it.
Yeah, I asked. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Matter of fact, the official came over to me, Sean came over to me and said, and it's third down, and I've never had a throw with vomit on a football. So I don't know. I don't think.
Put it on the ball and then was like, well, here you go, Malik Willis.
Oh, my gosh. What?
Make it sound like Matt LaFleur.
Is that what you did?
No.
I've never heard that before. That's a new one.
Definitely heard of guys vomiting in game.
And just like that nervous energy and tension, but vomiting on the ball. Dude, you're the center. You can't move it out of the way.
Just tucked it and ran.
Good on Malik, though. Good game for him. That's pretty cool. Cool story.
The Ravens, meanwhile, allowed Gardner Minshew to lead 3 straight scoring drives, and they failed to score on their next 3 possessions. Minshew went 30 for 38 for 2 and a pick, but Las Vegas held him to 45 rushing yards a week after the Chiefs allowed him to get 122. Here was the Mississippi mustache after the game.
I don't care what they doubt. We believe it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to continue to get better. We got the right people to do it. Not the right players, the right people to do it. As long as we got that, we're going to be all right.
Or who's now also 0-2.
And some of their fans are questioning why they let Mike McDonald go.
I bet they are. But what were they going to do?
Yeah, you're going to fire
let
Harbaugh?
him go, right? I mean, you're going to fire John Harbaugh? Exactly. But over time, I mean, that level of attrition will affect a franchise. They've got an all-world quarterback. They've got a lot of really good players, and they've got a really good system and organization in place. But at the juice perspective, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they're missing some of that and takes them some time to get it back.
Yeah, well, within their division, the Steelers did get a win yesterday, 13-6 over the Broncos, and pretty not exciting battle there. And then the Browns and the Bengals and Ravens are 0-2.
Did I send a text to Brock and Daniel Jeremiah last night asking how Bo Nix played? Pretty good quarterback.
The Steelers are a pretty good defense.
And he's a pretty bad quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Justin Fields had 117 yards.
Yeah, but he won. He won.
Wilson, what he called a petty game ball.
I saw that.
Because he said that everybody knows that he got the short end of the stick with Denver last year.
Yeah, it's so that or anything. They were just kind of saying
yeah.
Hey, we're being petty by giving him a game ball for beating his old team. But it felt like I know you can't actually play, but we'll give you a game ball since you missed this. I don't know. That's how I thought. That's what I thought. That's why I clicked on it. If you didn't even participate.
And also, we felt like these guys were mean to you last year, so here you go. That's kind of how you took it.
Yeah.
It hasn't been dazzling.
Nope, I don't. I think they'll go to Russ as soon as they can.
Wow.
Fields hasn't been very good.
Yeah.
I mean, my thing, who he is, yeah, that's probably not something you want long term.
What a mess they have on their hands. That's going to be that hosting the Saints yesterday.
What is going on with this story?
I
This
have
is
no
nuts.
idea. The Saints, they looked good.
All right, Maura, fantasy aside.
Kamara.
Yeah.
Is it Rashid Shaheed, Juwan Jennings? What am I at? 3? Derek Carr. Taysom Hill.
All right, 3 of those guys have been there for a long time. That's cheating.
Chris Olave.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. They do have Chris Olave. It's still pretty crazy, right? What they've done,
Yes.
just turning that team around.
Marshawn Lattimore? No?
Is he?
I think he is.
All right.
All right. Well, New Orleans scored touchdown on their first drive after halftime. So six touchdowns in a row, essentially. The Cowboys only managed 2 field goals in the second with 180 all-purpose yards and 4 touchdowns. This was Jerry Jones after the game.
Extraordinarily disappointing. Extraordinarily disappointing.
Okay. Jerry Jones is kind of a buffoon. Everyone knew you needed to. Everyone knew you needed to fire your coach. Everyone knew that. You didn't choose to fire your coach, which, by the way, was surprising for you. I don't know what he has on Jerry Jones, but somehow he got another opportunity to coach that team. Everyone knows that needs to change. What if the Cowboys had gone out and hired Mike McDonald this offseason? How different do you think things would be in Dallas right now? And do you think Mike McDonald would have chosen to go there, especially if they acted quickly? Yeah, he might have. I mean, that's on you, Jerry Jones. What can I tell you? You had this opportunity to get things fixed in the offseason. Saying we're going to fix it now, once the season's begun, and once you've stuck with the coaching staff that's let you down how many times before, I would say that one's on you, not everybody else. I'm sure Jerry will feel that way, too.
Yeah, he talks way too much.
Yeah, because he's in love with Jerry.
Well, yeah.
It's all about him. It's always been about him. Always will be.
I just wonder how the players feel about it.
It's a good point from the 206. Seems more like a pity game ball more than a petty game ball. Totally agree. Like, oh, we pity you, so here's your game ball. That's a great call. That's exactly right. Yes.
All right, the Bengals bounced back from last week's dismal performance against the Patriots to give the Chiefs a run for their money, but they couldn't pull it off in the end, much to Justin's dismay. They fall to 0-2.
Crazy.
They had a 22-17 lead in the fourth quarter, but then instead of capitalizing off of a spectacular Cam Taylor-Britt interception of Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if you saw that, but it was very athletic. Joe Burrow was strip sacked to set up a touchdown that gave the Chiefs a 1-point lead. The Bengals then did regain the lead with a field goal, but I feel like we've all seen this play before with the Chiefs. They gave Mahomes the ball with too much time left. And then the Bengals committed some dumb penalties to extend his drive and put the Chiefs in field goal range. And then Harrison Butker kicks the walk-off field goal for the win.
Yeah, I'm going to end up talking about this a little bit more detail later, but the new kickoff rules, one of the other things is that when the ball comes out to the 30, you really don't have to go that far to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you need to go? 30 yards? When would you say in the NFL now you're in field goal range? Would you say 57 is a pretty legitimate NFL field goal at this point? I'd say so. That's sort of the outer limits of where you're like, yeah, he should hit this. Okay. So you start on the 30. You only have to get to the 40 of the other team for it to be a 57-yard field goal. That's 30 yards. That's 2 plays. I mean, think about it. So this idea of leaving time left for field goals, I mean, like, I think that has to change the way you think about the offense in late game situations and whether or not you need to go for it yourself, because letting Patrick Mahomes know that he only needs to go 30 yards to score, he's going to do that every time.
I do love that the Chiefs have basically become the new Tom Brady and the Patriots, where anytime there's a late call that goes their way, it becomes, well, money's down and game's fixed for the Chiefs.
That's absurd. I don't buy any of that. Just the dude only needs to go 30 yards to kick a field goal. It used to be kickoff would go to the 20, and kickers were only good from 47 and in, basically. So you needed to go, really 50 yards. Now you only have to go 30 for a field goal win? The NFL teams are just too good at doing that.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it seems about right. You just don't have to go that far.
That's why I thought the Seahawks should have gone for it on 4th down yesterday. It worked out. I'm glad it did. But if it were me, I would have gone for it on 4th down.
Yeah. It seems like overall McDonald's been pretty aggressive with that.
He has. That's why I was surprised.
Yeah.
Like, again, they stopped them, and Jacoby Brissett is not Patrick Mahomes, and maybe that plays a pretty big role in it. I'm sure it does. Again, this is not a criticism of the way they handled the situation, and trust my team to pick up one more than I would trust the other team to not be able to go 30 yards to end up kicking a field goal.
That Linda Cohn is going to be doing some work with the Kraken.
What?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
The Kraken are thrilled KHN hosts on King 5 this season.
Wow. Not a way, Linda. That's pretty awesome. Good for her. Very cool.
I know you're a big fan.
That's phenomenal news. Oh, that's really, really cool. Well, I do love Linda, and yes, she's got a Pacific Northwest connection. She worked at KIRO, and one of my all-time favorites. That's great news.
Yeah, that's
really
exciting.
Cool. Oh, thanks for telling me that. All right, thank you for the great trip around the weekend, Maura. As always, Monday morning, good chance to kind of figure out what you missed. And yes, let's throw the Mariners into that as well. We did spend some time on them, a need to know. It's still a tough road. I mean, I'll go through it a little more detail at 7:30. You lose a tiebreaker to either the Twins or the Tigers. So 3 games really becomes 4, and you don't play either. As for, you got to be 1 game better than the Tigers. You got to be 4 games better than the Twins. And the Astros with the division 3 times. So if you can get to within 1, maybe even 2, over the next couple of, next probably go 2 out of 3, if not sweep them here at home this week in order to put yourself in a position to do that against Houston. All right. Salk, stop the before Salk arrived stuff. It wasn't that long ago. All right. It's been 15 years. It's kind of a while. No? Feels like a while. All right.
15 years is a long time.
Yeah, it feels like kind of a long time. I went from not being old to being old just during that time. So yeah.
You came to terms with being middle-aged.
Exactly. Yeah. I felt middle-aged at the Brock's in, Seahawks win. That's the conversation next.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to watch the Seahawks host the Miami Dolphins on September 22nd. Just open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter for your chance to win.
In the back of the end zone, DK. Does he have his feet in it now?
You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds will be.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Do it every day, September 13th through September 17th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win.
Holy catfish!
Are you looking for a construction loan to build your dream home? Are you a local builder needing a better financing option for your next spec project? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Stop wasting time with local banks and credit unions and their endless guidelines. We're the experts for common sense residential construction loans. We lend our own money, we make our own decisions. And if your deal makes sense, we'll get it done fast with flexible terms. For homeowners, we advise you every step of the way with things like budget and timeline, ensuring the completion of your dream home. For builders, Legacy's not only your lender, we'll source your next deal, provide permitting services, and if you're short on equity, we'll invest alongside of you. Legacy Group Capital has lent more than $1 billion, helping over 130 local builders and hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. LegacyG.com.
West Coast Men's Health has helped thousands of men overcome erectile dysfunction and Peyronie's disease using acoustic wave therapy. No pills and no shots. But it's not our success stories that separate us from the other clinics. It's how we interact with our patients. From your first call, our medical staff will take the time to answer your questions, whether it's about your ED, how our treatment works, or even about the cost. Our goal is to inform and educate you so you're comfortable when you come in for your first visit. So if you're tired of frustrating nights, you're ready to get off Viagra and put an end to your ED or Peyronie's disease, stop living with this problem and do something about it. Give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
As fall and winter weather sets in, your lawn becomes a muddy mess, and your kids and pets bring the mud inside. But with Synthetic Turf Northwest, you can have a lush, green yard year-round. No mud, no mess. Their premium synthetic turf systems drain fast and stay clean, no matter how hard it rains. Right now, during the Fall Blitz, you can save up to $1,500 on a new synthetic lawn. So say goodbye to muddy paws and say hello to your dream lawn. Call Synthetic Turf Northwest today or visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com to get started.
All right, Seattle fans, the gloves are off. Techline has the strongest warranty in the business. Give Techline a call and we'll come out for a free inspection. Take advantage of our easy financing and our summer special. Trust Techline.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
And welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments.
Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Looking for Seahawks tickets? Sign up for text notifications to receive alerts about last-minute ticket availability and offers. Simply text the word Seahawks to 71211. Go Hawks.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Get more of the NFL with NFL Plus Premium and start streaming more touchdowns, more hurdles, more action.
Breaks a tackle, he's gone!
NFL Plus Premium has your game day covered with NFL Red Zone, game replays, live local and primetime games on mobile, and more. The action doesn't stop there. Also, stream NFL Network 24/7, including 7 exclusive live games this season. Sign up today at plus.nfl.com. Subscription required for NFL Plus Premium. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Seattle Sports.
Charbonnet gets the handoff, and he's going to dive in, and he is going to get there. Touchdown! Seahawks!
710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma, the home of the Seahawks.
Get his freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
Styled by Simply Seattle.
And Brooke Ewart. And Brooke Ewart.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
All right, Brock, it is quite a Monday here as the Seahawks win. The Mariners take 3 games over the weekend. Fascinating Washington State matchup that comes down to the wire. How we doing today, buddy?
Dude, I am doing so good. Just so thankful to be alive.
Yes.
Yeah, I was in the Old Testament this morning. I think you and I are going to I don't think we're going to fight during takeaways, but I think we might, get it after it just a little bit. So I'm doing great, man.
That doesn't sound right. I don't see why that would happen.
why we would get after it with my Old Testament reading?
Yeah, there's no reason for that.
Pretty awesome, man. What a gutty, just gritty, tough win yesterday on the road. I didn't even, when you're 3,000 miles removed, we don't always know what the environment is and how hot it is and everything else. And it's a 10 a.m. kick for the first time for this crew, for Mike McDonald, for some of those young guys. I do know that. I did live that, and it is hard. As much as they've trained and gotten out of that, it is harder to go play at 10 a.m. And for them to find a way to win when you're outrushed the way they were, just awesome. To be 2-0, just terrific. And, and throw in the Mariners who just, found the secret weapon, Salk.
The new uniform manufacturer, like an extra couple of months to get them here.
Fair.
So I think fair. That was a little bit out of there.
Gino Smith. Gino was just flat out awesome. I mean, I said to you, Salk, save for his sack and his interception in the opening week, I thought his grade sheet would be phenomenal. I mean, yesterday he was nails. He was 33 of 44 with 5 drops. He threw for 315 yards with 5 drops. That would have easily added another 100 yards to it, or 85. I mean, it should have been a 400-yard day for him. And at every turn, when it was hard and when it was necessary and when it was needed, he responded. And they win. They're down. He's got to lead them on a drive. He does. They're getting overtime. He's got to lead them on a drive, largely all on his arm. And he does. He was the voice of poise that he's been asked to be. And I thought he was just, once again, utterly phenomenal.
I really did enjoy the poise that the team, and, there were a couple of penalties. Like, they did some things wrong, but they didn't let them derail them.
No.
Yesterday. And I thought has worked, I think, really hard to not seem that way, right? I mean, he's very young. He doesn't come off as young, and I don't mean that.
Did that for some time.
He's mature, and I think that maturity has, while he's able to bring youthful energy, a youthful defense, he brings an exceptional maturity that I think trickles down to his team.
You know what's funny, Salk? I kind of feel, I don't know how much of the late
show at 6 a.m. talking about how freaking big the difference was between Ryan Grubb and Shane Waldron. How could you not notice it?
Like, he really wants to play between the tackles first. He really wants to, like, establish that foundation first, and the rest of it's icing. You know, Lamar was but first and foremost, through the history of this league, you've got to play between the tackles, and I want to show toughness, and I want to do those things. And he, after shot after shot, but wanted to get up and kind of show to his teammates, like, I got this. Like, I can take a beating. You know, I don't have to play off skin. I watch Mike McDonald and just him, even post game, Salk. You know that he knows he's got to go through fires. Right? He knows that he's inexperienced. He knows that he's 2 games into it, and knows that the only way truly that he's going to learn about himself as a coach and learn how to coach his coaches and coach his players is, I got to go through this. I got all of this because I know that's the only way. That we can talk all we want. Talk. You and I could talk for 3 hours a day and then bump and stace and your production. And I love that you can almost see that with his, like, big old brown eyes and just the way he, like, attacks things and the way that he tends to be 2-0. Awesome.
While doing the learning.
That's right.
That's the key, right?
That's
if you can
right.
find ways to win while you're learning its quarterback and is going with a guy in Skylar Thompson that is not nearly going to be in the top 32, maybe top 40, maybe darn promising position. By the way, I was looking at this morning. By the end of next weekend, Brock, either the Rams are going to be 0-3, legitimate shot to go to 3-0 before, you know, a really difficult game with Detroit after that. So, I mean, you're putting yourself in a pretty darn good
games, and how can you not? Just think of what the previous 14 years and the body of work and everything that Pete was and everything that he developed, and tremendous. And Gino will give him all the credit in the world for resurrecting a career that was largely dead, right? Nobody wanted him. He infuriating. And, you know, the lack of emotion and the ups and the downs and everything else, right? He is just pretty darn steady Eddie and step.
You point to the coach. I just think the system is, there's guys open on every play. I mean, just you went through those numbers, and which is great. And, you know, again, when you contrast that to watching the Chicago Bears offense yesterday, I mean, rookies do, but he also was not dropping back, taking a look around and picking between which wide open receiver he wants to, especially in the passing game. But there are a lot of open receivers. There's a lot of good one-on-ones created for.
Grubb got the ball, and you just watch, Salk, and you watch with all the check with me's, and you watch them line up in one formation and shift to another formation, and save for burning one time out there in the second half. They've executed it largely flawlessly, right? Not up against the clock on every single snap, and they're running like 2 plays. I mean, the Seahawks West couldn't run 1 play in time with the clock and had to burn timeouts constantly, and we're constantly up against the play clock. They're getting into a formation, they're showing their cards, they're getting to another formation, they're shifting, they're motioning, they're doing all of it.
So you can get the play in. Who reads a Bible and wants to fight? Keep reading, Brock.
I said Old Testament. I said it was Old Testament.
Are you misreading the Bible? What's going on over there?
I said it was Old Testament.
Brown eyes being praised on this show? I thought this was a green and blue-eyed show only. It's actually really just blue. Brock and I both have blue eyes. So, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you know exactly what they're talking about. The sapphire green eyes of one Julio Rodriguez.
Oh.
Or the emerald green eyes, or whatever they are. Yes.
Those are very, they can entrap you. All right, Julio had himself a weekend. I played one of his home runs at 6:15, Brock, but it wasn't the only. He had a great weekend, and so did my new favorite Mariner. I still love Randy. I don't care. And I
into the studio. What's this defense like for you?
From where I came from, it's dramatically different. A lot of the safeties are involved into the game plan as far as, you know, showing different looks, disguise, blitzing, whatever it is. It's definitely giving everybody on that defense a chance to go out there and sack the quarterback or go out there and make plays. I've never been in a system where, you know, it's so many guys that can play so many different positions.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, have you been with the same insurance agent and carrier so long you just assume and I were the same way? But we heard so many of these First Mark Challenge victories that save people thousands of dollars a year. We decided, you know what, why don't we just take this free challenge too? And First Mark has saved us thousands on our premiums the last couple years. Here's how First Mark goes to work for you. They fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage. And if you've got the best coverage for the right price, they'll tell you that too. but more than likely you don't. And that's where they've got relationships and go to the market, dozens of major carriers to find you the best fit. That's it. No stress, no confusion. They're your teammate. And they spent the last 30 years helping thousands of families, including mine, manage a complicated world of insurance. So don't wait a morning longer. Please take the First Mark Challenge. It's totally free, and you might be the next First Mark Challenge victory I get to talk to. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Your teammate that goes to work for you.
To me, the LJ way is to provide an experience that people really enjoy being a part of. And they enjoy being a part of it because they're getting great service. They're talking with somebody that actually they feel cares about them. They care about me, and thank you for doing the business with us. And this is how we're going to show our appreciation through customer service. We're going to show our appreciation with taking care of you if you ever have an issue. The majority of the people that are coming to see us are within our community. These are people who are providing maybe services that we also use in our community. So the LJ way, to me, somebody can come into a retail setting and not feel like they got to have their guard up. And that's been a long-standing thing in the car business that, we've tried to shake.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Do you have a musty, damp, or wet basement? As the soil around your home becomes saturated, pressure pushes water through the tiniest of cracks and joints in your walls and floor. Moisture and water can not only damage your basement with mold and musty odors, it can also impact the health of your family. Matt Vey can install a custom-designed waterproofing system, transforming your basement into dry, healthy, usable space.
Do it the right way, the Matt Vey way. Rock built, rock solid.
Oh no, your furnace died. Your hot water heater's leaking. Your drains are clogged. Your AC's blowing hot air. Inconveniences? No, they're emergencies. Don't fear. Call Deere Services. Visit deerservices.net. Make an appointment and we'll be there within 3 hours or give you $100 credit. And get this, you will never pay a service fee. Bookmark DEARservices.net because if you're a homeowner, it'll happen to you someday. Deere Services, there when you need us most.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a fifth-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. Forward, right. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law, battle-tested.
Eddie's!
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
At Shane Company, our engagement rings are the perfect blend of design, function, and beauty, each one a unique work of art. We meticulously craft our bridal jewelry in our jeweler's workshop to the highest standards, expertly setting each diamond by hand, ensuring the structure is perfectly balanced, and sizing everything for the perfect fit. Shane Company offers a free unmatched lifetime warranty because your engagement ring is an heirloom that was made to last. You'll cherish your ring today, tomorrow, and forever. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
I grew up in a very angry time.
A night of comedy at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center.
We were afraid of your dad.
Friday, October 4th. Hold on tight. It's Bill Burr.
Like, I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad.
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com.
When I was a kid, I was like, Dad, run! Run!
Don't miss Bill Burr, October 4th at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older. Need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Kind of felt like accomplishing a mission for the Seahawks in New England on Sunday. They came away with the win despite some tense moments, despite not a perfect game. But they started the season 2-0, which was absolutely the goal. Not as easy as week one. The Patriots, I thought, really, they're a better team than maybe people thought they were going to be. They came to play. They were physical. They ran the ball. They stopped the run. But the Seahawks defense, I thought, had another excellent game. No takeaways, but they shut down the passing game. They rushed the quarterback. They got off the field on some key third downs, throwing a little help from the special teams, Brock, and this ends up being a nice win. You got to give Julian Love a lot of credit for this one, cut two.
We've still got a ball game and a chance for the Seahawks to come back and win this thing. There's the field goal attempt. It's blocked, and it's going to roll back into the end zone and out of the back of the end zone. So the Seahawks defense, what they need to do, I believe, it might have been either Love or Morris. Everybody's congratulating Julian on the near side. It must have been him.
It sure was, and in cut 7, Leonard Williams goes on to give him a little bit of extra praise.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised. Like, Julian always shows up every game. You know, he got that block when we needed it the most. You know, that whole drive, the defense was talking to each other, saying that this is an important down. We got to hold it while I'm rushing, and then he got the block. So it was beautiful, and the offense went down the field and did their thing.
Yeah, you don't win a lot of games, Salk, in the NFL when you give up 185 rushing yards and 5.1. So I would contend defensively they did get bullied a little bit. But if Seattle has some of the challenges on their offensive line of being a run blocking or a pass one here, and the regime there have built this team to run the ball and stop the run. And not a bad formula, right? Run the ball and stop the run. But when your feet go off, and he went off, in fact, DK and JSN, first time in the history of this franchise to have 2 double-digit reception days, plus 2 all the time. And in particular this week in the NFL, every game is down to the wire. Every game is seemingly a one-score game. That's a ton of credit for, yes. And then your offense went down there, and J-Mai was a perfect 3 for 3 to finish it off.
That last one was sketchy, wasn't it?
I was pacing.
I was sketchy.
I was still, after all these years, still pacing around in my horse stance. Yes, I was.
Doing your horse dance. Alone in first place, Niners and Cardinals 1-1, Rams 0-2. Crazy start. Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins in town next weekend. This 3 different ways over the weekend. Friday, straight up shocking, Brock. And they were playing the same stupid game we've seen a million on to win. Saturday, how about cut number 9? How about my guy, Randy Arozarena, walking it off?
And the right-handers 0-2 pitch. Robles on the score. The Mariners win it 5-4. Randy Arozarena with a walk-off base hit.
Talk more about Randy coming up in about, 10-15 minutes. But that was pretty sweet.
Good, because I got some family business.
Okay.
Yeah, Lyle.
Yesterday to blow out the Rangers. Mitch Garver coming up with a huge 3-run shot. Randy went deep again and then had a little stroll around the bases afterwards.
With their catcher, Mr. Heine, didn't really like that.
Yeah, we could talk through that a little bit.
Yeah, you think they'll be talking, Texas here next week?
Yeah,
probably.
Logan used an interesting word here, cut 12. Listen to Logan's word to describe their offense right now.
They seem really resilient. I don't know if it's a different approach or it's got to be really tough to pitch against them right now. Find a way to string hits together, big innings when it matters the most. It seems like I
thought that they would have kind of a game plan, and the difference being, I think early on with Brant Brown, it was going to be the entirety of that lineup going in with that game plan instead of the individuals doing within their skill set what they're capable of doing within that plan. But I think each and every at bat you are seeing, they're not giving away many of them anymore. And maybe that's desperation, right? Maybe that's 4.5 back and 2.5 back, and knowing that every strike and every game matters that much more with that sense of urgency. But they are doing a lot of the little things right. And then old Mr. Robles is just the best hitter in baseball.
It's, of course, so monitor those very closely.
Come on, Padres.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
I know this may not feel quite this by their athletic director. Their in-state brethren didn't exactly do them any favors. And in their first non-conference meeting, the Cougs get the job done. They play.
Totally co-sign on all that. You're absolutely right.
Know. I'm sure it still hurts as a Husky fan to not. Really, it doesn't bother you at all?
Oh, it does. Absolutely, it does. Man, those Cougs that stuck around, Salk, like it's just different. I had Oregon State, and that was a different story because Oregon is so elite athletically in there that have persevered. Do you know how much it means to them? And you heard that from many of the Coug players. The quarterback stuck around. He could have left. And most guys do. When you don't get to be a starter in this day and age, I got to go find some playing time. A bunch of the guys that have been there for year after year after year and stuck around with Jake Dickert and didn't just flee and didn't just fly the coop. When everything went down, it's going to be a tough game. It was a 4-point spread. You knew that it was going to be a tough game. And then when you get penalized 16 times and you make as bad a call as the Malcolm Butler pick, which I'll discuss in Blue 88, those two, yeah, you had no right to win that game, and the Cougars celebrating there in Seattle, getting it done.
Huskies fall to 2-1. They'll host Northwestern next week in a little soft launch. And we do a quarter past every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show.
Yeah, you see Lyle's tweet last night? You see Lyle's tweet yesterday?
I did not.
We sent back to one another.
So you're saying you took it personally?
I felt like I took it a little personal.
It wasn't about you.
I felt like it was a kind of a G. Scott leader in the history of mankind, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even when he's not, it feels like he is.
Correct. He has subtweeted so much.
Yeah. How it relates to this Mariner weekend. It's next on Brock and Salk.
This is Seattle Sports.
There's the field goal attempt. It's blocked. And he gets the handoff, and he's going to dive in. Touchdown, Seahawks!
Just felt good to win. I think the past 2 weeks we've really shown how close.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
All right, Seattle fans, the gloves are off. TechLine has the strongest warranty in the business. Give TechLine a call and we'll come out for a free inspection. Take advantage of our easy financing and our summer special. Trust TechLine.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing since 1917.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here for Johnson Fitness and Wellness, where I got my home gym. Now the difference? Their expert staff. They ask great questions like, what are your fitness goals? What kind of space are you working with at home, and what's your budget? Johnson Fitness and Wellness experts get you the right machine for your home gym dream setup. And right now, in-store only while supplies last, mention this ad and our listeners get an indoor cycle for free with Select Force USA Home Gyms. Shop stores in Bellevue, Tacoma, Linwood, or visit johnsonfitness.com.
Stacey Rost here. It's time to recognize a woman in our sports community with the 2024 Women of Inspiration Award. The nominations are in, and the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events, needs your help selecting a winner. Voting is open now until September 20th at woiseattle.org. The winner will receive a generous cash donation from Wise and their partners for the cause of their choice. Help honor a local woman today. Vote by September 20th at woiseattle.org.
This is Seattle Sports.
There's the field goal attempt. It's blocked. And it's going to roll back into the end zone.
The home of the Seahawks.
At Mazda of Everett, you can always expect to receive exceptional customer service and exceptional deals. Mazda of Everett is a great friend of Seattle sports, and you'll be satisfied with both. Shop from over 600 new Mazdas in stock. And right now, they're offering 0% financing on all new Mazda CX-5s, CX-30s, CX-50s, and CX-90s on approved credit. Need more reasons? It feels like working with family when you work with Mazda of Everett. You will drive away happy. See for yourself at MazdaofEverett.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Robert. Robert, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I heard an ad, and my wife and I had just got our policy renewals from our previous provider, and everything had gone up quite a bit, 30-40%, so I thought I'd give it a try. It was a pleasant experience, very easy. It only took a couple of days to get the good news back.
And were they able to save you money?
Yeah, we were able to save well over $1,000. Not only did we save money, our agent found that we had some gaps in coverage, and they were able to not only save money, but improve our coverage.
Well, now you can be a good friend, and you can tell everybody about it.
Well, I have. I've, in fact, passed it on to a couple of my good friends, and they're taking the challenge as well, so it's been great.
Robert did it. My family did it. Now you got to do it, and it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you can be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
As a Washington State business, you can take advantage of Labor and Industries no-cost safety and health consultation program. We can help you build out your accident prevention plan, meet safety obligations, and reduce your risk of costly safety citations. You can have us look at a single item or your entire facility. And consultations are confidential, which means you will not be cited if a hazard is found. You'll just need to fix it, and we can help you with that as well. There isn't a safety question we can't help with. To learn more, visit lni.wa.gov/consultations.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Seahawks win. We'll get back into that coming up in, well, about 15 minutes with Blue 88. And then at 8 o'clock, we'll dive a little bit more deeply. But it was a heck of a weekend for the Mariners, Brock, as they win 3 straight games. Unfortunately, Houston won 4 straight games, so they're not gaining any ground in the division race. But they pick up some ground a little bit in the wild card. They're only 2.5 back of Minnesota as of this morning. The biggest thing I would say for the Mariners is I really like how they haven't quit. And they've had numerous opportunities to quit, right? Numerous times where it looks like this season is over and done with. And that's never really been in the DNA for this group. They've never really quit. They've always found ways to battle back over the last few years, so that shouldn't be a huge surprise. But good on them. They haven't quit. They're out there battling every night. And even on nights like Friday where it looks like they don't have it, they found a way to get a win in that game.
Yeah, we were in our production meeting Friday night, and Benetti kind of looks at me, and he's like, oh. And I'm like, what? What now? What I do now? He's like, no, Mariners down 3-0. I'm like, oh, crud. And obviously Houston's winning. And I honestly, had they lost Friday night, Salt, not that the season would have been over, but I certainly don't know at 7:30 on a Monday morning after a Seahawks game if we're talking about them.
Right.
Because if they lose that game Friday, if they just kind of roll over and they're down and it's kind of one of those offensive games for 5 or 6 innings, you're like, yeah. Yep, see, as you said, kind of seen this script before, and you lose Friday night. I'm not saying mathematically it was done. It would have been over, but it sure would have felt that way.
Well, and it might. I mean, it's pretty close now. I mean, even as well as they're playing, the problem you have, right, as you know, is in the wild card, you lose a tiebreaker to either Detroit or Minnesota.
Correct.
So when you're 2.5 games back sounds nice, but it's 3 in the loss column. And it really becomes 4 because you've got to beat them by a game. Tying them isn't enough. 4 games back, 12 to play. That's a lot. especially when you're not playing the other teams. In the division, it's 5 games in the loss column, but at least you play them 3 times, so you have an opportunity to try to really get that down to 2, and you do hold that wild tiebreaker. So,
and you do get to play them, right? You do get to go to Houston for 3 games.
You get to play them, and you hold the tiebreaker in case you tie. So 5 games there maybe feels a little bit different from 3 games in the wild card, if that makes sense.
Yep. Okay, so let me, I know you want to transition to Randy here. Let me get and handle some family business, right? So we have our, the new Brock and Salk text line, which has been great. I feel like it's really grown. It's developed some. Justin's still in the building. Justin's doing remarkable work. You're going to see Justin.
Did you not feel free to share with Justin on the line?
I did. Oh, absolutely, we did. I mean, we kind of had a thing. We had that text line amongst the group.
Text thread. I think I would go text thread.
Text thread. I apologize. Text thread.
We don't need to confuse
anyone. And I think we all kind of wondered, like, how would these 2 threads coexist? Could they coexist? What would it look like? And I think it's become clear. The new thread's kind of growing.
It's the primary thread.
It's the primary thread now.
Yeah, Justin's out of sight, out of mind.
So when I see Lyle Goldstein last night, I don't know, some 16 hours ago, tweet this, Salk, every single thing about this clip, and this was Arozarena's home run, every single thing I see about this clip seems to scream to me that Randy's really enjoying being a Mariner. Just awesome stuff.
Wow.
When I see that tweet, I can't help but think of some of the back and forth that we've had on our new text thread of really challenging how miserable Randy looks in Seattle.
Well, you say it all the time. Every time Randy doesn't get a hit, you say he looks miserable here.
He looks miserable.
You say
all
that every
this
time.
Juice, all this personality, all this swag that we saw the first week, all of this fun when I'm saying, Arozarena, and I just love saying Arozarena, right? All of this juice, there's been like none of it for the last 6 weeks, right? And what?
He was ice cold.
Yes, and it just felt like body language wise. We've even heard he's kind of quiet. He's kind of off to himself. So then, when he finally erupts this weekend, it is great to see some of the emotion. But Lyle, do you feel like Randy Arozarena just loves to be a Seattle Mariner, or was it just these, back-to-back days where he was a huge contributor?
Well, I'm just starting to wonder if maybe he's starting to get settled in. It's a hard transition, right? You move 3,000 miles from Tampa to Seattle. It's pretty far away from where he grew up. Totally new team. He spent most of his professional career as a big leaguer in Tampa. But all of a sudden, you kind of start to look at the last 2 days, and he picks up the Gatorade bucket and dumps it on his own head after the walk-off, and then he's screaming at the dugout when he hits the homer, and he's ferociously raising the trident up to the crowd. And I don't know, you didn't see as much of that in the first month, and I'm starting to wonder if now, he's starting to get more settled in. He's hugging all his teammates in the dugout after the homer on Sunday. I'm just wondering, because you're not the only one, Brock, that's kind of had that speculation about how much is he really enjoying it here, and I'm starting to wonder now if maybe he's starting to just get settled in. Maybe it was a transition.
When you're cold and you're in a new place, it's pretty hard to show them the type of guy and personality that you are. I don't want to call Randy Arozarena a front runner because I don't think that's quite what I mean, but he's a guy who feeds off of his own success. And when he's going, he makes it continue and it gets rolling, and that can sort of spark an entire team. I don't know that he's a guy who can let out all of those parts of his personality when he's mired in a huge slump. And that's not to say he takes everyone down with him. I don't mean that. Just that all of that sort of extra energy and juice and edge that he brings is hard to bring when you're not hitting. I was thinking about him a lot, Brock, regardless of the subtweeting. Julio's fun. Right? When Julio's going, he is like fun personified, right? When he's having fun, it makes everything and everyone around them have fun. The smile is infectious. I mean, we know what Julio looks like when he's in the right zone and the superstar that he can be. I was having trouble coming up with the right word to describe Randy Arozarena because it's nothing like Julio. We know he's hot and cold. We know he's a guy who, runs hot and then cold and has great stretches and then challenging stretches. We probably shouldn't have overreacted to the slump that he was in. But when he's hot, he's a game changer. And I don't know whether fun's the right word. He's charismatic in his own way. He's interesting, and I have to see what he's doing at all times. He's must watch. He's somewhat mercurial and surprising and curious. But a big part of me wonders if whatever that edge is that he brings, if it's the perfect personality to go and pair with Julio.
Mm-hmm.
We hoped that's what Kelenic was going to be, right? Not the Jared Kelenic we got, but the Jared Kelenic we thought we were going to get. We thought it was going to be this really interesting yin and yang with Julio, and unfortunately Kelenic just wasn't able to hit, wasn't able to do and bring all the things that I think we hoped he would bring. Is it possible that Randy is going to do those things?
Yeah, I actually, Lyle, I think it was a very astute point you do make about him so far removed from everything that he knew. And we don't even know, is his family with him? Right? We saw old Randy Land when he left there in Tampa and the connection he had with that fan base and all the highs and the playoff runs and everything else. And I think there is something to that, that this still is a human being that is totally removed from that and got a new clubhouse and new teammates, and you couldn't be any further. You're basically on the North Pole from St. Pete and Tampa Bay. So I do think there is some merit to that. I don't know, Salk. I've just been underwhelmed with a lot of that quote-unquote edge. I've just been kind of underwhelmed about this personality that I really have not felt until this weekend. Felt it a little bit at the beginning. Telling Scott Service, all I want to do is win. All I do is get to the playoffs. And just some of that. And then really over the weeks that have followed, yes, through some poor production, but also, just really quiet and just really keeping to himself and, just doesn't really connect and hasn't really connected. And hopefully this was the weekend with that sense of urgency with the playoffs looming.
When
Hopefully,
did you hear the stuff about connection? I never heard that. I heard he's quiet. But he's not a loud personality. I never heard he doesn't connect, though.
Okay.
I never heard that.
Maybe that's a stretch. But when you're just quiet and removed and don't really talk to a lot of people, to me, that is just a assumption that I make. And maybe I'm incorrect on that. Maybe that's a wrong conclusion.
I think what I heard was more in contrast to sort of the charismatic, do the arms folded, Randy Land, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. If you thought you were getting Victor Robles, that's not who he is as a personality.
Yes.
He's more quiet. He's more reserved.
Yes.
That's not who he is. He's more of a watch and listen more than a talk all the time kind of a guy.
Yep.
But I don't know that I ever got the sense that it was
that's
about,
fair.
about being removed.
That's probably unfair, and I'm not there. So let me strike that, Your Honor, from the conversation,
Fair.
and
All right.
I will own that.
Request granted.
But I've just not seen a lot of the juice. I just haven't for 5 or 6 weeks.
Did you see some yesterday?
I saw a lot.
So what do we make of this? So just so you guys know what happened. So Randy hits his home run yesterday. It's his 20th home run of the year, which gives him his 4th straight 2020 season. He proceeds stare at it, huge bat flip, unbelievable excitement, and take a half hour to walk around the bases.
You think that's partly because I can hit a home run here? You can cut through to Marine Layer. I just wanted to believe that 300-yard drive. I just had a 300-yard drive. I'm not going to get in the golf cart.
I don't think it was
pace
that.
This thing.
No, I think it was the fact that it was his 2020 season. But regardless, he gets super excited. Jonah Heim, the catcher for the Rangers, doesn't exactly like it as he walks back to the dugout, as he passes the plate. He's got a couple words for him. Okay, fine. Up or now down 7-0. The Rangers plunk him in the next at bat. Fastball straight to the shoulder.
Yeah.
It's clearly intentional. There is no doubt whatsoever that that was intentional. And as we know, Randy really hates being hit by pitches. He's gotten mad at Julio and JP and some other guys get up on the top step, and he raises the hand to them to say, no, it's all good. Why? What do you think happened in all of that?
I don't know. I think he knew what was coming. When you pimp a home run like that, and you got old Buckethead there in the other dugout, right, in Bochy that has been around, and a catcher that's that infuriated, you know what's coming that next one. And at least, it was to the shoulder, right? It wasn't to the hand.
Too high.
It wasn't to the jaw. It wasn't, okay, fine. You want to hit me in the upper back and shoulder, okay, I deserve that. So I'm going to guess that was probably it. I knew that one was coming.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think that, hey, we're fighting for the playoffs. We can't afford to have you guys getting suspended in the last few games of the season. The time to do this was a couple of months ago, not today. I also wonder, I like celebration. I'm big into the baseball celebration. I think it's great. I don't mind the bat flips. I don't mind, pimping the home runs and all of that. I don't love that it's for a personal accomplishment instead of a team accomplishment, personally. And I say that as a huge Randy fan. I love what this guy brings and sort of the straw with which he stirs the drink. I think he's got some of that. I don't love celebrating the personal accomplishment to that extent. I think that's great to do by yourself with your teammates, etc.
Sure.
I don't know that needs to be the public celebration of a 2020 season.
Right.
I mean, like 40-40 maybe.
When we got a 50-50 coming this year.
Yeah, it doesn't feel quite the same.
Yes.
But if you want to do that when you hit a big home run that really matters in terms of, the team and where you're at, I think celebrate away.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have said anything if I was Jonah Heim. I might have just said, wow, nice personal accomplishment there, buddy. I thought that was, I don't know. That's not how I would have wanted to do it.
What do you think of cut number 8 here, Lyle, if you wouldn't mind? I felt like, and I think I even tweeted this, I think Goldie was sitting on this for 6 months. Like a hen in the hen house sitting over her eggs. That I just felt like, there's just a release that had to be had. Speaking of celebration, just listen to the great Aaron Goldsmith on that 3-run game-changing, game-winning bomb that Julio blasted Friday.
Waggles that bat around. Now the set by Robertson, and the 1-1 pitch. Julio swinging a drive deep to right field. Way back. Where's it going to land? A bird deck. Goodbye, baseball. Julio Rodriguez. Huge bat flip toward the dugout. A 3-run bomb into the...
I'll get the Goldie one for you, Brock. Sorry. I don't have that one.
That was pretty good. Riz
is awesome too.
Riz is awesome too. Riz was really, really good and super. Obviously, Salk, you talk about, and who knows? That could be the home run that changes this thing the final 12 games.
Could be.
Right? You always talk about getting locked in. I talk about meaningful plays, right? I talk about these, and I'm constantly during a football game in my producer's ear, hey man, or in my ISO tape. Not constantly. I'm really not that annoying, but I'm just hey, let's put an X by that one. Let's circle that one and see just how meaningful that is. That Friday night home run, honestly.
It could, yeah.
I really hope that circles.
If they go 11-1, they can equal last year's win total.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Also, I meant to bring this up.
They just have to go 11-1 to be as good as last year's team. That's all. Lyle, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I know you got more to say on this, but it is time for Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
All right, lots of praise being thrown at the Seahawks for good reason as they find another way to win on Sunday. But, Brock, you've chosen to start off Blue 88 in the other direction. Who had a tough afternoon?
Oluwatimi.
He didn't play.
He was inactive. Yikes. That's a tough one for Olu. And that is a huge credit. And this is kind of the yin and the yang. That is a huge credit for Jalen Sundell, who was active. When I saw that news, I'm like, so Olu is inactive this week. Wow. And I had to text Brady, and I'm like, Brady, who, if something happens to Connor, who's the center? I can't imagine Bradford sliding over or, Christian Haynes sliding over or Laken Tomlinson. None of those guys have ever been a center. What happens? And then he reminded me of this name, Jalen Sundell, who if he walked into the room right there, Salk, I don't know if I would recognize. Would you recognize Jalen Sundell if he walked into the dungeon?
No. I asked Brady about him the day he made the roster because I had never heard of him.
Right. And an undrafted guy. And again, this is kudos to him. And this is actually a really cool culture establishment. And I can spin this as positive. As much of a bummer as it is for Olu and a wake-up call for Olu in year 2, either, my skill set or whatever is just not working. This is also a huge positive for Jalen. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter where you're drafted. It doesn't matter any of that stuff. If you're the better player, as much as we want to see our draft pick make it happen, if it's not, and you beat him out and you're doing what we want and we believe in you and we built that trust, you could be an undrafted guy and be one snap away from going in there in New England yesterday. So, yeah, just kind of more, I don't know why I'm an Olu fan. I really don't, but I am. I love his journey. I love his wedding pictures. I love the joy, I think, with which he plays this game, Salk. I've loved when we've gotten a chance to connect and talk to him.
Yeah.
But that's not a great sign for a young player when you're inactive and an undrafted guy has now bypassed you on the roster.
All right, question number 2. Who or maybe what has been the biggest surprise of the first few weeks of this NFL season?
Golly.
There's a lot of them, so I could go. You go down this list for a while.
You sure could. I was just actually.
Baltimore being 0-2? Is it New Orleans dominating at 2-0? I mean, like, is it Minnesota?
I think it's got to be.
I think
it's got to be Sam Darnold in Minnesota. Come on now. I mean, and they have had so many injury. They've lost lives, sadly, on their roster of a late round draft pick that lost his life in the summertime. That people they have counted on, right? And J.J. McCarthy, Salk, their top 10 pick that they wanted pushing and playing and right there with Sam. Like, they have had so much, and they move on from Kirk Cousins and their franchise quarterback. And it kind of has a little feel of the Seahawks a couple years ago, like. And this was supposed to be a reset year. This was supposed to be a rebuild year. This is Sam Darnold that's like on his 5th or 6th organization. Come on, Sam Darnold. But Sam's played phenomenal ball, and Jordan Jefferson is awesome. And some of the pieces they have there have come to life, and what a great job by their coach. So I'm going to point to, amidst all of the surprises, and you're right, Baltimore 0-2 could be right there, and the Saints scoring at a rate unheard of in the NFL, and doing it, passing and scoring at will against anybody. There's probably good arguments to be had, but I'm going to land on a little resurrection here of Sam Darnold and what the Vikings have done in sacking Brock Purdy 6 times yesterday.
Maura used that word earlier, resurrection or something. What word did you use, Maura, for Sam Darnold?
Resuscitation?
I don't know. You have to have been good in order for there to be a resurrection.
It was like resurgence.
Resurgence. Sorry, she said resurgence. You have to first have had a surgence in order to have a resurgence.
When you're a top 5 pick.
No.
Right? Yeah, when you have that kind of expectation and hype, when you take USC to a Rose Bowl, when you
need to have had a surgence to have a resurgence. You need to have had an insurrection in order to have a resurrection. Like, I'm not buying the part of that for Sam Darnold.
Push.
Question number 3. Brock, I can't ask you this question in good conscience because it doesn't feel right.
I mean, one had a lot more meaning. I'm just going to break down the actual call.
But I'm not going to ask you worst goal line call Jed Fish on Saturday or Darrell Bevel a decade ago. I'm just not going to do that.
Well,
you can write it, but I'm not going to read it.
I mean, Maura was down at the Muckleshoots yesterday with Cliff, and 10 years later,
I don't care.
Am I correct, Maura?
Yeah, I was doing a watch party at Muckleshoot Casino with Cliff Averill, and he was not loving when they put the old Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl highlights up on the screen.
No kidding. I'm not even going to compare
we
these
have to
two.
do this again.
Darrell Bevel's call was worse, but how bad was Jed Fish?
It was horrendous. And it was coming off of a timeout. I mean, it was truly from like a play. Just you and Lyle were talking during break, because even though Lyle grew up listening to the show, he didn't really remember your take from 10 years ago, which I understand. Yeah. He was like 14 years old at that time, so I totally get it. And your take then and your take now is that throwing the ball was not a bad idea. The throwing the ball actually was going to give you the most bites at the apple, the most opportunities, and especially against the front and the defense that New England had. But the play call choice and the risk of Ricardo Lockett and Jermaine Kearse having to beat Brandon Browner was foolishness. Taking a timeout, to burn a timeout, so you don't have all three in case you don't get it, and you could still stop the Cougs and make them punt from their goal line or end zone, Salk. A, to burn a timeout, and B, to come back with speed option into the boundary with your non-athletic quarterback. It was almost as if you could not come up with a worse call. You run speed option for one reason, and actually Dylan Gabriel house called it for 58 yards in the game. We had Skycam this week, which is just the greatest tool this carpenter doing a game could ever have. And I got to describe so clearly that you run speed option. They were an empty. They motioned into the backfield. They totally got declaration that there is one guy outside the tackle, and that is it. So everybody blocks down. You as a quarterback, go attack that end, and there's nobody left. When you got more than one outside, you're dead. You check. You don't call the play. You don't run the play. From Pop Warner on up. They ran it. It was dead on arrival. It was horrendous. And, yeah, it didn't have to be equally as bad. It was horrible.
And does he do the play calling himself?
Yes.
That's not what you're looking for.
I think he owned it afterwards. I think he'll own it today in the press conference, but it was bad.
That is today's Blue 88. Glad you got that off your chest. A very negative Blue 88 considering how great the weekend was in general. And I don't know whether we're going to disagree now or later or what, but I watched that game. I thought defense was pretty darn good yesterday, and I know they gave up 20 points. I know there were a couple of drives.
185 rushing yards, so.
Yeah, all right. They had trouble with the rushing game of a team that has really good rushing. But they also got after the quarterback. You know what? We'll discuss it next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
This is Seattle Sports.
DK's wide open. 10, 5, strides in, touchdown, Seahawks.
I've never been around a quarterback who had as big of a chip on his shoulder than Gino.
Set has time. Now he's going to get hit. He's going to go down. Well, Leonard Williams just drove his man back, just what the doctor ordered.
This is a great example of this game of, hey, when the offense needs to pick the defense up, they did it. When defense could help the offense by getting a critical stop, we got the stop.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
The seasons are changing, and if you're thinking it's time to change what you drive, the incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland will get you charged up with the BZ4X. Toyota's all-electric crossover SUV features an estimated range up to 252 miles, getting you where you need to go. Test drive the BZ4X at the electrifying showroom at Toyota of Kirkland and take it home the same day. Visit in person today at Toyota of Kirkland or online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
I grew up in a very angry time.
A night of comedy at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center.
You were afraid of your dad.
Friday, October 4th. Hold on tight. It's Bill Burr.
I love seeing kids nowadays loving their dad.
Tickets at emeraldqueen.com.
When I was a kid, I was like, Dad, run! Run!
Don't miss Bill Burr, October 4th at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older. Need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire in my building. Please send help right away.
What is the address of the fire?
My address. Hold on. Oh, wait. The fire sprinkler just went off, and it's putting out the fire.
Good to hear. The fire department will still be dispatched as a precaution.
Fires are fast, but fire sprinklers are faster. Fire sprinklers get water on a fire immediately to protect you and your property. Install fire sprinklers in your home or business today. Brought to you by Puget Sound Area Fire Protection Contractors.
The best defense is a good offense. So before the sewer backs up into your home and wreaks havoc, stop freaking and call Beacon. Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical is there for you when you need them most. 1-800-FREAKIN or beaconplumbing.net.
Hey everyone, Rick Witters, owner of Cressy Door. If you're in the market for new garage doors, our expert staff is ready to help. Cressy Door has been offering quality service since 1952.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
When I wake up
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started on the right foot.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Good mornings make for better days.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Seattle Sports.
DK's wide open. 10-5. Strides in. Touchdown. Seahawks.
710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma, the home of the Seahawks.
This hour is brought to you by Amazon Hub Delivery.
Get a freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney. Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
We're going to accuse you of manager.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Saul.
At 2-0, there's a lot of people and a lot of folks that deserve credit for what the Seahawks have been able to accomplish so far. And yes, we're going to talk a lot about the new folks, certainly Mike McDonald and Ryan Grubb and all the guys that have stood out offensively, defensively, etc. Was that defensive performance as good as it was in week 1? No. Did they make some huge plays when they had to? Yes, and I still come away pretty darn impressed and excited about where this defense is going.
Yeah, I would understand that. Did this defense make adjustments, Salk, when it mattered the most? Did they make? And you heard in the locker room, it was just a quick little snippet, and we'll have Coach McDonald here in next hour. I can't wait to talk about it, and he won't go into unbelievable detail. But when he talked about the play that Dotson made, right, the huge run stop there and the work that went into it, you heard him say, like, we rep the heck out of that and gave kudos and credit to coaches and analysts and others to make those and to prepare. So you could, that great old Russell Wilson, the separations and the preparation. And for Julian Love to make that adjustment on that field goal block and to swap positions and for Julian Love to shut down the tight end that was problematic there in that first half and to make those adjustments.
Yeah.
That has to stand out and resonate to fans.
I hope so. I mean, New England only had 310 yards of offense. I mean, I know you're going to point to they did rush for 180, and that's probably something you'd like to fix. This defense may be a little susceptible to the running game. They're not huge, especially at linebacker. Their linebackers were built a little bit more to stop the pass and to get into passing lanes than they were to stop the run, especially a physical, heavy, downhill kind of run game like the Patriots want to run.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to, be a little susceptible there. But the other side of that was, Brock, they were constantly in the backfield.
Yep.
Boye Mafe was incessantly, no, he can't tackle once he gets there, but he was incessantly in the New England backfield.
Yes.
They had huge 3-and-outs all throughout that game, and when they needed it late, they got the Patriots off the field.
Yep. Every time the Patriots drop back to pass, and I had to watch a game yesterday in Buffalo Wild Wings, pacing, horse dancing, clapping. I apologize. Thankfully, he was a really old man that couldn't hear how loud I must have clapped right near his ear, so he didn't even flinch, God bless him. Had it been a young person, I might have got an elbow to the solar plexus, but I did not. But watching that, Salk, and just watching the juice and the energy that they played with, every time they dropped back to pass, it was a win. because those edges just absolutely collapsed around Brissett. I don't know how he got up 2 or 3 times. Leonard Williams bent him in half. Derek Hall was in his face constantly. Boye was in his face constantly. Like that whole group was so aggressive.
Let me give you some context to that, and I'll turn to our friend Hawk Blogger, who had some pretty good tweets on this throughout the morning. Boye Mafe, he writes, had 6 pressures in this game. That's 15 in 2 games. He's on pace for 128 pressures. Nick Bosa led the NFL last season with 122.
Yeah.
That's Boye through 2 games.
Well, I'll tell you what they're doing with Boye, and it is similar to both the Bosa brothers. Do you notice this? With both your ends, and it's a little why you're vulnerable to that run game, and the run game that New England ran between the tackles. Do you see how wide those guys are? You call that a wide 9 technique. Do you see? You remember when you play the 49ers and you watch the 49ers and you watch the other Bosa and you just watch how wide he's like in a track stance. It's like he's running the 200 meters, coming downhill right at you, getting to the passer, stopping the run on the way, and you look at the width of the way they're playing their edges right now, and the collapsing that Derek and Boye and those guys are doing on the edge, and they're doing this without Uchenna. Yes,
exactly. Let me read you another one from Hawk Blogger. The Seahawks defense has the 5th highest pressure rate in the NFL, while only ranking 20th in blitz rate. So they are getting pressure without needing to bring 5. That seems like kind of a big deal.
And the Broncos O-line, by the way, pretty good.
And
that's a pretty good O-line. That New England O-line, pass blocking wise, not very good. But they're good run blockers, and he had to try to balance and play some of that run. So awesome.
Let me read you one more.
Sheesh.
Last one from him. The Seahawks defense ranks 2nd in the NFL in opponent yards per play, 4.0. That number 1 defense in that metric is Tennessee, who's just ahead of them. Their defense is coached by a disciple of Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know the offense is going to be a fun conversation for everybody today. You don't win that game without defense and special teams. You lost the coin toss. Most times that's an advantage for the team that wins it. But if your defense is able to stop them 3 and out and get you the ball back immediately, well, there you go. Now you have the advantage because all you need is a field goal, and that game is over. So huge credit to the defense for what they did in overtime, and a huge credit to special teams for getting them there because they only needed a field goal on the final drive as opposed to a touchdown. So, yeah, that's pretty good day for sort of the also-rans of the Seahawks complimentary group.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful to split the credit pie after a win. And I think both sides would say offensively, we threw it at a rate that's not sustainable. You're not going to throw it 44 times on the road typically and win a ton of those games. But when you do it with the efficiency and the accuracy that Gino does, so there's, those next level stats and the Pro Football Focus and many other bloggers out there that chart this stuff. Gino did not have one off-target throw in 44 throws. Lyle sent us the text, the tweet this morning. Statistically, he's number 1 in the league through 2 weeks. What does YPA stand for, or EPA? It's not the Environmental Protection
Agency.
No, it's not that one. Lyle, what is EPA?
It's expected points added. So yeah, he's number 1.
Number 1 in the league.
Sort of like WRC plus, right? Weighted runs created. I think.
Yeah. How are you playing? How are you executing? How efficient are you? How are versus what is expected or by comparison what you're doing to your peers in the league? It's unbelievable. It's off the charts. But much like the Seahawks run defense was a little bit leaky and gave up some spots and missed some tackles, you're just also got to run it better. Right, it was funny. There was a guy in a Seahawk hat yesterday, and he was walking out. As I was walking out, I said, hey, what do you think of Gino? He's like, well, he's never as good when you don't run the ball. I'm like, I didn't really want to get into debate at that point, but I'm like, actually today he was utterly phenomenal with no run game. And he's right. When you get a run game and you get play action, you even highlight his strengths that much more. But yesterday he had to do it, drop him back. Yesterday he had to do it. And did that not look, honest to goodness, did that not look, and I'll get into this in one of my takeaways, did that not look a lot like Michael Penix on his run up to silver medal in the Heisman race? Did that not look like Michael Penix throwing to Rome Odunze and throwing to Jalen McMillan and throwing to Polk and throwing to Jack Westover and throwing to anybody at any time in any place on the field? You mentioned Hawk Blogger. Did you see Gino's spray chart? Did you see his completions? And where he threw it and saw all of his attempted passes, it was from one sideline to 53.5 yards across the field, the other sideline, with volume all over the field. It wasn't just throwing outside the numbers. It wasn't just throwing behind the line of scrimmage. It was anywhere and it was everywhere. And that's what the Huskies did and Michael Penix did in their run up to getting all the way to the national title game. And I'm not saying they're going to get to the Super Bowl because they got to do more than that.
But obviously there's a clear through line there of Ryan Grubb and what he does to scheme these players open and allow his quarterbacks to throw the ball to guys who are wide open or in one-on-ones or whatever the case may be. Pretty awesome. Impressive and certainly bodes well for the future. All right, coming up, we'll give you guys everything you need to know, including one of my favorite words, revenge. That's next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
John Morosi is here.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
Dan Wilson has come in. They at least have a winning record since he took over. And here we are. We're well past Labor Day, and we're still talking about the Mariners with a chance. They've got a chance. I'm not saying it's a good chance, but they've got a chance. And you're seeing meaningful baseball played in Seattle for yet another September. So I'm trying to be still at this point the optimist.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, this morning, are you out there searching for a local, trustworthy group of pros to assist you with your mortgage needs? Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and you can count on Tila Mortgage. While many have opened and closed their doors over the last 25 years, Tila has been the go-to mortgage experts in Washington State. And if you're 62 or older and you've heard me and others talk about reverse mortgages, well, Tila can help you decide if that's the right choice for you and your family. If monthly payments are impacting your credit score and just killing your month-to-month cash flow, well, Tila can once again assist you in consolidating your debts with proven programs like a refinance loan, where you hear me talk about this HELOC all the time, a home equity line of credit, enabling you to maintain your low fixed rate first mortgage. Additionally, if you're purchasing a new home, well, congratulations. Tila can guide you through all the ins and outs of a new home loan as well. With hundreds of 5-star reviews, Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a trusted source for honest and ethical mortgage advice. Give them a call this morning at 206-766-8888 or TilaMortgage.com. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker, MLS 247-2046.
How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work? If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both. I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Be at T-Mobile Park for the final weekend of the regular season. The action gets started with Mariners Fan Appreciation Night, Friday, September 27th.
Back-to-back doubles, instant energy, and everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
The Mariners are squaring off against the A's at 7:10, and after the game, stick around for a special fireworks show presented by T-Mobile. Plus, you'll have the chance to win incredible prizes all night long, including Alaska Airlines flights, autographed jerseys, a first pitch in 2025, and more.
A high riser riding back into the corner. Gone! Julio!
Go to Mariners.com to get your tickets and check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park during our closing series against the A's, including Kids Appreciation Day, Sunday, September 29th, presented by Optum.
Strike three call, four-seam fastball, just seared the outside corner.
Mariners baseball, Trident's up.
This is Seattle sports.
Dixon puts it down. Myers gets it away. The Seahawks win the game.
The home of the Seahawks.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, your crown is disappearing. Hair loss had me feeling like I was losing my identity altogether. Well, I've got some good news. It's a simple one-day treatment that worked for me. The Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. It starts growing new hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly memberships. Those can help retain what you have. But what if you want your own natural hair in specific areas like I did? You decide how much, how thick, and where. From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to the world-class leading doctors like Dr. Parango, it's not a maybe your hair will grow, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 425-449-8185. Advanced Hair is the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and they are the team that I personally recommend. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
What you needed to do flying across the country in week 2 was get a win. Mission accomplished. The Seahawks do exactly what they needed to. Some tense moments, and they were down late, but they come away winners. They start the season 2-0. Was it as smooth as week 1? No. Patriots certainly came to play in this one. They were very physical. They did run the ball well. They did stop the ball well in the running game. But the Seahawks defense had an excellent game. No takeaways. They shut down the passing game. They rushed the quarterback. They got off the field on 3rd down. The secondary the special teams did what it needed to do late with a huge kick block and also making its kicks. And Brock, that connection from Gino to DK cut one pretty special. That's cut one.
Now Gino slows everything down again. Charbonnet is lined up wide to the near side. And in the slot is DK Metcalf. Motion back inside his fan. Blitz is coming. Gino's going to let it fly. DK's wide open. 10, 5, strides in, touchdown, Seahawks. The Seahawks got just what they wanted. They got a blitz and single coverage, and DK Metcalf ran right past the secondary. Wide open, Gino laid it on him. A 56-yard touchdown strike, and we're a point away from being tied here in Foxborough.
Yeah, those are nice.
Did you listen to Rabel in that entirety of that call? Steve's going to be worn out by the end of the year, right? Because it's this motion, it's that shift, it's this guy lines up here, and they motion back to this, and they get everything, Salk, and they do all of that totally purposefully to try to create that matchup, to try to get for Gino a declaration of what that picture is and what that defense is doing for them. And then, man, there's a weapon there, and there's a weapon there, and there's 2 Seahawks with over 100 yards receiving and double-digit catches, which had never been done in the history of the franchise in JSN and DK.
And JSN, we played the DK home run ball, but JSN had a great game. Mike McDonald cut 5. Certainly excited about his young wideout.
I didn't realize those career highs. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, he's a great player. He's got incredible hands, all the underneath stuff. I think he, underratedly deep threat.
Yeah. And nice to see him used in a variety of ways. It was Tyler Lockett week 1, and this is what great teams have, Salk. okay, all of a sudden, Tyler's just going to do the dirty work, and he's not going to get as many touches, although on the overtime drive, he's going to just be so skillful and draw a pass interference penalty that he is so stinking good at, like these veteran NBA guys, to get calls and understands all of those things. But there's a weapon, there's a weapon, there's a weapon, there's a weapon, and allows you to find a way to win out on the road.
They're going to play a team with a lot of weapons coming up on Sunday. The Dolphins have plenty of them at their skill positions. The question is, what about the guy who's throwing them the ball? Looks like it's going to be Skylar Thompson, who is not Tua, that's for sure, and he will start against the Seahawks on Sunday at home. Niners lose to Minnesota. Cardinals destroy the Rams. So the Seahawks actually sit alone in first place in the West. Niners and Cards are 1-1. Rams off to an 0-2 start, and the Rams and Niners play each other on Sunday. One of those teams is going to win. One's going to lose, obviously. The loser is either going to be the 0-3 Rams or the 1-2 49ers to start the season. Yeah, you'll take that if you're a Seahawks fan.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
How about those Mariners this weekend, huh? They do it 3 different ways. Friday, shocking. They played that game 100 times this year and lost every time. And then they decide just late to become unpredictable, and Julio crushes a 3-run bomb in the 8th inning. You want to hear the great call from Aaron Goldsmith as he saw it? It was pretty special. Yeah, that's
you've been sitting on that like a mother hen.
Saturday, Randy gets the walk-off winner, and then yesterday a combined 1-hit shutout. Kirby was phenomenal, and let's throw a little praise, Brock, at your guy Mitch Garver. Cut 10, a big day, including a 3-run jack.
Runners their leads, pitch to Garber, swinging a high drive deep to left center field. Tavares going back to the warning track, to the wall, looking up. Goodbye, baseball! Into the pen and left center field, Mitch Garber. His second career home run off of Andrew Heaney. And it's a 2-out, 3-run blast here in the bottom of the first inning. Number 13 on the year for Mitch Garber. 3-0 Mariners. How about that?
Garver's numbers against lefties have actually been
really good. Really good.
He torched that ball yesterday.
And he's kind of, these numbers flat out have been really good. Today obviously going to be a heavy Seahawk day, and Mike McDonald next hour, but probably tomorrow with passing and otherwise. So we can dig into these things because, albeit it's still a small sample size, it's not a week, it's not 2 weeks. I think what Dan and Edgar and what this offense has done, for whatever reason, whatever comfort guys are having, whatever the messaging is, this offense has looked entirely different over this stretch as they win yet another series, keep their hopes alive. 2.5 back in the wild card, 4.5 for the Astros. Yeah. Mariners idle tonight. Those Astros begin a 3-game set against the fighting Daniel Jeremias.
Yes, San Diego Padres. Twins start a 4-game set with Cleveland.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Revenge is powerful, man. It is a powerful emotion, and I felt like the Cougs got some measure of it on Saturday. Does it make up for everything that's happened in the last year or so? No, but they were ditched by their conference and their athletic director. Their in-state brethren did nothing to help them, and in their first non-conference meeting, which, by the way, was at Lumen Field because the other team didn't want to go to Pullman, the Cougs got the job done. They played hard. They played physical. They made the big plays, and at the end of the game, Jake Dickert was the one proud. It wasn't Jed Fish. It was the head coach in Pullman.
First off, I just want to say how proud I am of this football team. We talked about it being a week's worth of work. It wasn't a week's worth of work. It was 9.5 months grinding, staying together, working. Our captain, Nusa Milani, in the players' meeting, he said, we're not going to beat this team because we hate these guys. We're going to beat this team because we love each other. And that's exactly what you saw in the fourth quarter. These guys never flinched. They kept swinging. And most importantly, they believe in one another. So just a hell of a win. Really proud for Cougs everywhere. To come on this neutral field, it's just awesome.
Mike Leach, in so many ways, was the right coach for that program at that time.
Yep.
100%. Cougs would probably have a better answer than this, but at least in my time here, has any coach ever fully understood what it means to be a Coug better than Jake Dickert?
Why does he? It's pretty simple. It's where his roots come from. It's being a small school guy. It's being out in Wisconsin. It's being out like he knows exactly, living out and being out in the country and being in a rural environment and being counted out and not some city slicker and not having every resource and having to grind my butt off and, not too much different than Ryan Grubb, frankly, who had to start out as a strength coach on top of being an assistant coach, and work his way up through Sioux Falls and otherwise. So there's just a deep-rooted perspective there, Salk. And he's absolutely the right fit for Pullman and Wazoo. And you felt those guys play for one another, and you felt a very selfish Husky team that committed 16 penalties, that just made mental errors, and Wazoo outplayed them and absolutely earned and deserved that victory. And pretty sour taste there for Jed Fish and the University of Washington.
That is everything you need to know, quarter past every hour, here on the Brock and Salk Show. As you mentioned, Mike McDonald will join us just over an hour from now at 9:30. So
in the dungeon.
Yes, he'll be here for the first time in the dungeon, where we're getting all the video stuff set up now, so it should be great. I'm curious to see how he's going to navigate around so young. So Mike McDonald will join us at 9:30. We've got takeaways coming up next. DJ wanted superstar stock, Brock. Is it looking more believable? We'll address it next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to watch the Seahawks host the Miami Dolphins on September 22nd. Just open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter for your chance to win.
In the back of the end zone, DK. Does he have his feet in it now?
You can
Seahawks!
Do it every day, September 13th through September 17th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win.
Holy catfish!
Sinking or uneven concrete around your home? You need to call Matt Vey Foundation Repair.
Hi, I'm Matthew Cote with Matt Vey Foundation Repair. If you have an uneven, cracked driveway, sunken sidewalk, or sagging cement porch, we offer an easy and cost-effective solution.
When you call Matt Vey, you'll get a realistic bid, meticulous cleanup, and a lifetime warranty. No one else offers that kind of guarantee. For your free evaluation, call 8449-MATT-VEY or visit gomattvey.com.
Do it the right way, the Matt Vey way. Rock built, rock solid.
Hey, babe. Yeah, the bank password is moneybags, but a $sign instead of the S.
Mr. Moneybags here is about to get his identity stolen.
Wait, what?
If he used 1Password, he can share logins, credit cards, and other important information with just his wife, not the whole store. Sir, your card's been declined.
Again?
Security is complicated. 1Password isn't. And right now, get a free 2-week trial at onepassword.com. That's 2 free weeks at onepassword.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Jake was suffering from osteoarthritis when his doctors asked him to consider surgery.
However, there's a 9-month recovery period where essentially you're not walking and you're not putting much in the way of weight on.
That wasn't going to work for him, so he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I heard the ads, and that caused me to do due diligence.
And how are you doing now?
There's not really any pain now at all. I have no limitations in what I want to do.
Wow, so you're able to do anything you want to do?
I recently played golf at Cycle House down in Pebble Beach, walked 18 holes, which I hadn't been able to do for a number of years, and then went for about a 2-mile walk with my friend.
I take it you'd recommend stem cell therapy to others then?
Absolutely. Had I known then what I know now, I would have done this several years ago and saved myself a lot of pain and suffering and agony and limitation to activity.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
This is Seattle Sports.
DK's wide open. 10, 5, strides in, touchdown, Seahawks.
The home of the Seahawks.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in males. When detected early, it can be curable. Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer, typically requiring only 5 treatments. CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This hour is brought to you by Amazon Hub Delivery.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, 1 hour from now, Mike McDonald will join us to discuss another win. He should be fun after a win, right? It's nice that we haven't had to find out what he's like after a loss. So we're gonna have a second attempt at seeing Mike McDonald after a win. That's an hour from now. Let's get right to the takeaways.
Takeaways.
You can start, Salky. I always like when you start.
This is your thing. You always start takeaways.
Okay, Leonard Williams, monster. Absolute monster. Obviously a key free agent, most money they've ever given to in free agency, right? This is a draft and develop team, and they kind of got the best of it. And that they got to have Leonard for the second half of last season, even though it did not necessarily work the way that we all hoped it would, or he would hope it would. And we wondered, geesh, with the regime change and everything else, when Leonard Williams be a Seahawk, and I am sure glad he said yes. I can say confidently he had many other options. I can say confidently, Salk, the money was matched and maybe even better elsewhere, but a West Coast guy understood, like, this is where I want to be, and trusted John Schneider, and trusted the ownership, and trusted the organization, and ultimately Mike McDonald is bringing the best out of him as he's bringing out the best with everybody else. A sack and a half yesterday, even more pressures. He envelops and swallows plays at the point of attack. I thought the big cat man through the first 2 weeks, boy, he's gotten a lot of the attention. I get it. The pressure numbers are awesome, right? Julian Love has gotten a ton of credit. He absolutely deserves it. But make no mistake, in the middle, where it matters the most, where every team is always built in any sport, up the middle, Leonard Williams, a monster, man. He has played 2 great games.
Did he get to the edge a little bit and play over there a few times?
Yep, they can move him around.
I thought I saw some of that. So, yeah, absolutely, man. He's such an important thing, just based on, as you said, how much they spent. Like, they made him a priority, and for him to go out and reward them in the first 2 games like this, pretty awesome.
Takeaways.
Well, if you go with maybe their best defensive player, I'll go with their most improved for a second straight week. Derek Hall showed up again.
Yes.
That's 2 weeks in a row after essentially being left for dead at the end of last season. He was awful. He looked like he was going to be a gigantic bust. Instead, he's playing with speed. He's playing with power. He's making plays in fairly big moments. It's so cool. I really want him to be good. You mentioned earlier how much you were rooting for Olu, and I think that's great. I'm rooting for Derek Hall. Also has been really good when we've interviewed him. The body just makes him
unique.
Really excited to see him show up for a second straight week.
You know what's weird, Salky? We make a lot of judgments, especially you and Kyle. Very, very, very judgmental in your numerology.
Yes.
Like right from the jump. See, you thought I was going somewhere else with that.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm not going to rip you.
Sure where you were going to go.
No, we're teammates, all right?
That's nice.
But you and Kyle make an immediate, and I love you for it, right?
Yeah.
I really do.
I've always loved 58 on him. Carl
And
Banks.
it has grown on him. I don't know if there is a number that has grown on a Seahawk like in a 1 year period of time. Yep. That number felt too big for him. The game felt too big for him. The edge felt too big for him. And now?
Rusher number. And if that's what he's going to end up being, that would be pretty darn awesome for this team.
Yeah.
Takeaways.
We got Maura on the line from the Muckleshoots. Maura watching that game at the Muckleshoots yesterday. What do you got, Maura?
Well, Mike McDonald has brought up the word poise very often, and I feel like this team does keep showing it. Things can get ugly, but instead of letting it spiral, the hothead. Yep. And we've seen it. We've seen him get angry on the sidelines when things aren't going well. And through these 2 weeks, I have not seen that. And he's had to maybe get a little upset. And so far, I haven't seen that. And I think it's another example of the buy-in that everyone has to McDonald's system because it is a change.
So just like numbers are so important to a player, band names are so critical. You knew eventually Jane's Addiction was just going to fall apart. Like, you just can't be named Jane's Addiction without, crumbling in the end, which is unfortunately what happened to them as they get on a fight-in stage. What was the name of the...
I didn't have Brock referencing Dave Grohl and...
Yeah. I watched that like 4 times.
Dave Navarro. Hold on. Dave Navarro and Perry Farrell.
I watched it like 4 times.
It's only been 35 years.
It was a top 5 show of your
King
life.
Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Yeah, very, very, very hard.
Folks, stop talking about music so I can stop correcting both of you.
Right.
But I didn't have Brock bringing that up on my bingo card.
Yeah, well, you never know what you're going to get out of me. But the Voice of Poise should be the greatest band name whenever it does come out. The next boy band, I don't know who it will be. But the Voice of Poise, and even Brady Henderson asking Mike McDonald about that yesterday, because I know that resonated. And, I would co-sign and more, Maura. Total command. Total command to the, this being Gino, total command to the offense. Total command when Jackson Smith-Njigba drops a ball. When DK drops a ball. When Noah Fant drops a huge ball there late in the 4th quarter. Did you see Gino flinch? Did you see him pout? Did you see him throw his hands up in the air in frustration? Nope. Did he have to have a Pete Carroll on the sideline giving him a zen? Like with this, just calm down, Gino? Nope. He is, he's all over it. And I think for Gino, he knows contract year. And he and his people, wanted to have that conversation before the year. And the team said, nope, you're to your strengths of accuracy and getting the ball out of your hand and managing everything. Man, been an absolute home run the first 2 weeks here with Gino Smith.
Takeaways.
All right, can we have a debate about something without it being necessarily a criticism? I just think I would have done it differently. And I'm excited to talk to Mike McDonald about it at 9:30. 58 seconds left in the game, down 3, 4th and 1 at the opponent's 15. I think you go for it.
Okay, quick pause on that. Got a text this morning to add a little flavor to this.
Mm-hmm.
No question that Pete goes for it on 4th down yesterday. And we likely don't get it and lose.
Really?
As gutsy as it is to go for it, it's even just as gutsy to not trust your emotions and instead trust your system and
Mine
your
has
philosophy.
nothing to do with emotion. This has nothing to do with emotion.
Well, it did for Pete for a lot of years.
I don't think Pete would have gone for it there.
Oof.
Pete was so conservative with those things. He would always trust his defense, even though it didn't make a lot of sense to do so.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't think Pete goes for it. I think Pete does not go for it there, and Kicks does exactly the way Mike McDonald does. Here's my reasoning, Brock, and some of it you would throw out last year because the rules were different. The ball's now coming out to the 30. the 30.
Or you could stop them. Yeah, but yes.
You could, but what we've seen for the most part is the ball's coming out to the 30. Mm-hmm. With the ball coming out to the 30, and with NFL kickers at a point where 57-yard field goals are absolutely within pretty good range for them, they only need 30 yards. So if you kick the field goal there, which they did, and it absolutely worked out, and that's why you are, I think, taking a bigger risk than going for it on 4th and 1.
I think his answer is going to be what my answer would be. And if I was up in the booth as a game management coach right there, I would say very simply, as I say all the time, and I love to do this in a broadcast, it comes down to trust. And in that moment, are you trusting your O-line that just got stuffed on a 3rd and 1 QB sneak, an O-line that got no run game going? And you could say, well, then throw it. Okay, but then, you got a batted ball or some fluky thing happens versus, I'm going to trust my defense against Jacoby Brissett in an offense that's done almost nothing against me this second half, other than a couple self-inflicted errors that we had made with missing some tackles and some assignments. I think you trust, if you're going against Aaron Rodgers, if you're going against Patrick Mahomes, if you're going against Josh Allen, you're going against
all of those things come into it.
You're going
As
against
I said, I don't think this is a sure thing.
Jacoby Brissett, who at that point had thrown for 30 yards in the second half.
I still think when they only need to go 30 yards, I think that's got to change some of the complexion and decision-making and calculation.
It'll be a good conversation.
It's going to go into these decisions moving forward. It worked out. I'm psyched that it did. I don't think he made a mistake. This isn't a criticism. If I'd been the head coach, I think I'd go for it because I don't want to take away.
What happened to the tackling? Mark Schlereth told us that was one of the best tackling performances he's ever seen last. I guess we at least know that they have the technique once they can get back on the same page, but that was a little surprising.
Yeah, I'm going to land a little bit more on what Salk said earlier in the show about matchups. This was a matchup that you had some huge inherent advantages, and we saw that played out in spots. This was also a matchup in some spots that's going to be a little more challenging, especially when Baker goes out with the hamstring again. And you're going to throw now Dotson right into the fire against that big physical group. Yeah, excuse me. You're going to throw Knight now into the fire with Baker out. And those are two linebackers that are built, and Dotson is so good in space, so good sideline to sideline, was so good shooting the gap on that run blitz to make the huge stop at the end. But over the course of 60 minutes, that was going to be a difficult matchup in the run game, and I think, Salk, that showed up. And Mike said earlier in the week that New England does such a good job of getting a body on a body and not keeping you free. An undersized group needs to be free. You need to be half a man. You have to have an arm free. You have to have something free. If you get glued up and you get on Velcro, you're going to be reaching and you're going to be grabbing and you're not going to be sound in your tackling. So I think some of that, Maura, was to New England, to their strength. Now, on the flip side of that, they can't pass block. Right? So every time that Jacoby Brissett tried to drop back and pass, that pocket collapsed.
How many times did they miss superstar stock, right? Does it look a little bit more believable each week as you see him continue to get into the backfield nonstop? He was phenomenal this week. He gets into the backfield constantly. But to be a superstar and to pay off that bet for DJ, you got to finish the plays, man.
Yeah.
You got to come up with at least a sack or two. You got to come up with that play where he had Stevenson. No, it wasn't even Stevenson. It was the other guy, I think, dead to
Gibson.
rights in the backfield.
Yes.
Like, you got to make a few of those tackles. Is he moving? This sounds sort of silly. Is he moving too fast in the backfield sometimes? Does he need to slow himself down?
You have to play with your hair on fire, right? You have to gain that edge. You have to play with so much speed and power. How then do you slow yourself down? He's up Byron Murphy too. He could have had 2.5 sacks, right? He's into the backfield multiple times, and even in the preseason. So how do you play that fast yet under control? How do you teach that? That'll be certainly a question for the head man here in 45 minutes. Offensively, and we heard, and I bet you old Baldy is going to do some Baldy breakdown with this. Like, this is awesome. We heard Bucky Brooks talking about it. We heard a lot of people around the league through the preseason going, hey, man, what the heck is going on out there in Seattle? What is this collegiate offensive coordinator who hasn't had 1 second in the NFL? what is this guy doing? Why is Gino Smith saying there's plays and concepts in 10 years in the NFL that he had never experienced before? How valid and how real can this be? Holy smokes, man. You are seeing through 2 weeks a level of, I'm going to almost call this check with me. And this was, for me, like my exposure to it was going from Seattle to Indianapolis. I had never done this in high school. I had never done this in college. I get to Indianapolis, and there's Peyton Manning and his super processor brain and computer going, oh, yeah, every single play, run this way, check to a pass. Like the ability to go boom, boom, boom. Like, what? What? How do you see that? How do you do that? How is that possible in real time? You know, with everything the defense is doing to you on the other side. And you're seeing Ryan Grubb do exactly here what he did at Washington, which is exactly why Mike McDonald hired him and gave him the game ball, by the way, yesterday in the locker room. We're going to line up in this. Then we're going to get you to take a picture of what you – so not only in real time for that play, but then I also know the next time we're going to line up in this is what you're playing. And this is what your tendency is. And then I'm going to shift. And then I'm going to motion. And then I'm going to show you one thing. And then I'm going to swap. And then I'm going to trade. Gain a leverage advantage. And I can create that matchup that I want to take advantage of. And so I can't tell you how many people at the Seahawks behind the scenes were telling me this offseason, like, Brock, this is really cool. This stuff is fun, man. And they could communicate it and they could teach it. And that was always my concern. Like, okay, that's great. But do you have enough time on task? You have 10 OTAs. But what you're seeing is, no, you have a lot of time. I get these guys in the building from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. I get buy-in with DK and Jackson and Gino, and all these dudes love this. Holy cow, has this thing been fun through the first 2 weeks? Honestly, just from a football 101, and I promise you, you will hear more of the Daniel Jeremiahs, the Bucky Brooks, the Brian Baldingers, these guys that love to break down film, all of them across the country, digging into this tape going, how? Why? Is he 33 of 44 and really should have been 39 of 44? Like, how is he doing this? You're going to hear a bunch of it coming out, and it is darn impressive.
Takeaways.
Death, taxes, and Tyler Lockett making off-schedule plays in big moments in games. It is just automatic. The other two receivers had the huge numbers. Both deserve a tremendous amount of credit. Double figure in terms of catches for both of them and over 100 yards for both of them as well. But on that overtime drive, how about the play Tyler Lockett has, right? It ends up being PI. I thought he caught it, but I guess he must have dropped it when he hit the ground. But 20 yards, it got them into New England territory. Was it the biggest play of the game? No, there were probably a few that were bigger, but it's got to be on the list. And it was like the one time he showed up. Of course he did, off schedule, just having that feel and knowing where to get to on the field.
He had it at Kansas State when I wanted him drafted. Just watched him as a punt returner, as a kick returner, as a wide receiver, and you're like, this dude has a feel for space that's just different. It's just different. Ultimately, they make that selection, and one of John's best, right there with Bobby and Russ and everything else, what he's done for a decade and where he's going to be. And, man, he continues to do this. He might be another Ring of Honor guy alongside all of those defenders in that Legion of Boom era, Salt. But now he has translated that as maybe he's not quite as twitchy and not quite as fast as he used to be. He's translated that like an NBA player, like Steph Curry driving into contact and knowing exactly how to draw those penalties. It's become an art. He knows how to use his body. He knows how to close that space. He knows what it's supposed to look like for those who throw their arms up as much as they want to, and they may be so doggone frustrated that this old timer is still making them pay when they are right in his hip pocket, and he is making them pay.
This isn't right. Matt in Oregon texting in. Matt, this is wrong.
What?
I agree with Brock. Mafe is, just like Salk, a 200-meter sprinter who struggles to finish. I finished, I'll have you know. I made it to the end, even if I wasn't my best.
Don't touch me, bro. Don't tease me, bro.
Takeaways.
Pain. And is your hamstring still in pain?
Not
As you were
like
walking the gorge and you
not
were
every
camping
minute
and
of
you
the
were
day,
tenting?
no. But if I tried to sprint, yes.
Were the special teams special yesterday?
Yes. Definitively, yes.
Do you realize that both teams ran exactly 66 plays yesterday?
It's crazy.
I don't know how many NFL games that you find where the two teams end up with the exact number of plays. It is not easy to do, but both the Patriots and the Seahawks yesterday ran 66 plays. Pete's old formula of the number of rush attempts plus the number of completions. That you get above 50, good chance to win. You get above 55, great chance to win. Those two teams yesterday, again, in very different ways. New England running it, Seattle throwing it. It was Seattle 52, and it was New England 51. So it probably is no surprise with the same number of plays, almost the same number of total yards, almost with the same number of Pete Carroll's formula that game goes to overtime. And what's the difference? Special teams.
Yeah.
I mean, you blocked the field goal. Absolutely.
And not just that, you had a nice run back. D. Williams, after a lousy game last week, had one decent run back and caught a ball when Pritchett smashed into him while he was catching it. That's a huge play in that game, not to fumble inside the 20. So I throw a little credit his way, throw some credit to Julian Love. That's awesome, man. Yes, absolutely. Special teams, special yesterday. Great point.
Oh, thank you.
Takeaways.
It is. Was conditioning a part of that win also? There's a lot of talk. I mean, I was listening to the first half. I was driving back from the Gorge. And again, I can't believe the way all you people out there gatekeep the Gorge. Like, no one ever told me it was
You're
great.
You're no victim. Stop whining.
Everybody just tries to hide it and keep it from themselves.
Stop whining.
Nobody told me how good
Not
the
gonna
Gorge
hear it.
was.
Maybe a year or two in, I would hear this.
Just
You've been living here for 16 years.
And no one ever told me about the Gorge. I can't believe it.
Nobody talked about the Gorge.
Ever. If you get a chance to see King Gizzard, go see them. They were freaking incredible. But I was listening to Rabes on the way back. Just kept talking about how hot it was and how conditioning was going to be a factor. And Brock, I know you've talked a lot about their sports science, and Mike McDonald mentions it all the time. To be better than your opponent late in the game, isn't that a great sign of how hard you worked, how hard your conditioning has gotten done, and how good your sports science group is?
100%. 100%. And that's your nutrition through the week. That's your hydration through the week. I think Julian Love talked about it post-game with how much Ori that I couldn't share on the air. I wanted to, and Benetti's like, you can't do that. I'm like, I would do it on my radio show. He's like, this is national TV. You can't do that. And then I asked the SID at this school, can I share that story? He's like, please don't. You'll probably have us a few more times this year. I would not recommend sharing that story. But it was about a certain coach with a certain player on his team that he had to check his DoorDash. So there's an accountability factor between them. And he's like, hey, bro, like you want me to hold you accountable. You've asked me to hold you accountable. So let me see
Let's see what you're ordering.
Let's see what you're ordering at 10 o'clock at night. You know, it's great within the building. And when you got structure, it's all awesome. But let me see your DoorDash, let me see what you're ordering. And it was really cool. To me, it was a great story of like trust and accountability and back and forth and a player wanting that kind of accountability. So that doesn't happen. You don't play, you don't perform, you don't do that at 10 a.m. unless you take the proper steps, unless you got buy-in, unless you're hydrating, you're eating right, you're sleeping, you're doing all of those things to perform at your very best. And not just for 60 minutes yesterday, it took an overtime period too. So yeah, I'll throw it right back at you. Good point. Good point.
All right, well, there you go. That is, those are their takeaways.
Takeaways are fun and wins.
They are. Yeah, they're a lot more fun and wins. They're easy to hear and talk about them wasting timeouts in the second half.
That's what we were going to fight about, by the way. That was going to be the Old Testament
You don't
fight.
think they wasted the first timeout?
They wasted
the third
first
timeout?
I don't know about the third one. The first
one's the one that's the big one for
there
me.
You go.
Yeah. I just don't understand. You're down 3 in the fourth quarter. It's 2nd and 20. You call a timeout rather than all right. I'm not going to talk about it. It's not that big a deal because you won. And so everything's fine. Everything's hunky-dory. And those things don't matter when you win. Mike McDonald going to join us coming up just over a half hour from now. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
This is Seattle Sports.
DK's wide open. 10, 5, strides in, touchdown, Seahawks.
I've never been around a quarterback who had as big of a chip on his shoulder than Gino.
Said has time. Now he's going to get hit. He's going to go down. Well, Leonard Williams just drove his man back, just what the doctor ordered.
This is a great example of this game. Like, hey, when the offense needs to pick the defense up, they did it. When defense could help the offense by getting a critical stop, we got the stop.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
When a product is made better, it lasts longer. Sounds simple, but Toyota of Kirkland wants you to know it's actually savvy. With Toyota's certified program at Toyota of Kirkland, you can score a high-quality, low-mileage Toyota at a great price. Talk about savvy. The tremendous team at Toyota of Kirkland has plenty of certified inventory for you to come see, test drive, and take home all in the same day. Now that's truly savvy. Visit the Savvy showroom at Toyota of Kirkland today or toyotaofkirkland.com.
At State Roofing, you can trust us to get your project done right because we prioritize quality and excellence in everything we do. Take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest today, and don't pay until 2025. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Are you a skilled plumber looking for a top-rated team? Join Ben's Plumbing, rated 5 stars for exceptional service. Enjoy great pay and benefits, a supportive team, and a non-commissioned plumbing career. Apply now at bens.plumbing. That's bens.plumbing.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you. Guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's winds blowing across a fruited plain, and also your new fire pit, which subsequently sets your gazebo ablaze. It's hard-hitting football, and an even harder-hitting price estimate from your general contractor. That's a star-spangled bummer. It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
This is Seattle Sports.
Charbonnet gets the handoff, and he's going to dive in, and he's going to get there. Touchdown! Seahawks!
710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma, the home of the Seahawks.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Give me a freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Presented by Simply Seattle.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, 30 minutes away from the second Mike McDonald show. At some point, I'm sure we'll stop counting them, but this one's number 2, and it comes with his team 2-0. There aren't a lot of 2-0 teams. It's sort of a weird topsy-turvy start to this NFL season, right? I mean, kind of look at what's happened. Did you expect Minnesota to beat up on San Francisco yesterday? Did you expect New Orleans to have arguably the 2 most dominating wins of the season so far? Like, it's been, do you expect Baltimore to be 0-2? Do you expect Dallas to get spanked yesterday? I mean, it has definitely been an odd start to this NFL year. And so to put yourself in position at 2-0, just to let the rest of the year play out, that's awesome, man. 2-0 is a really good start in the NFL.
We say this a lot in baseball, and I know Scott Service even early in the year kind of referenced it and has referenced it as the team has started a bit slow in April and May and everything else. Like, hey, if this were a football game, right, 162 baseball games divided by 17, we've hardly played, one football game. But, in this case, you've played kind of 2 games, and that's 30-some games if it were a baseball schedule, pretty darn close to it. And just like in baseball, you want to bank those wins, right? Down the stretch and looking back, and some of the veteran players were even saying that, like after the game, like, hey, man, you know how important these wins are, every single win in the NFL. If you get to 9 wins, right, with the way this thing is shaping up and kind of looking around the NFC, and the Rams are super beat up, absolutely trashed by injuries. Their O-line can't protect. Guys are getting beat up. Their secondary is hurt, and they're getting taken advantage of, right? You know that some of these kind of front runners in Dallas, expose some of their weaknesses, and some of these teams you thought would be just great. Are they going to run in the NFC to 12, 13, 14 wins? No, not going to happen. So anytime you could start getting close to that, like number 10 number in wins, you're going to have a shot to get into those playoffs. So, yeah, banking 2 of them early here, absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it's a really nice start, and the contrast there is how the Mariners started, how much of this season went, but then what they've done here for the last couple of weeks has been nice, and they've kept themselves in it, and they haven't quit. I mentioned that earlier. I do think it's important to note that this team gets that credit. They deserve it. They've never quit. They didn't quit a few years ago when they got themselves down early and they ran off that great streak. Mm-hmm. They didn't quit last year. I mean, again, this year's team would need to go 11-1 to equal last year's team's record. For all of the assault that last year's team took, including one person saying that they were the least likable Mariner team of all time, which I would take great issue with, they are going to end up finishing with a better record than this year's team, regardless of whether this team makes the playoffs or not. Is this team going to make the playoffs? It's really hard for me to see how this math is going to work out for them. I'm not saying it's impossible, and they should absolutely keep going out like they've been. And, you can't worry about what the other teams do. All you can do is win as many games as possible. Mm-hmm. But unless they win 9 or 10 of these last 12 games, I think it's going to be really hard. Mm-hmm. Really hard. You've got a lot to make up. You got to make up 5 games with the Astros or 4 games with the Twins. And that's a lot in 12 games to do. Mm-hmm. The problem is that you lose the tiebreaker to the Twins or to the Tigers if they play good ball down the stretch too, because you got beat up badly by both of those teams.
The Astros and you own the tiebreaker, but
you're 5 in the loss column.
Yes, and with those Twins, you are also
2.5 back, but you're 3 in the loss column,
and they own the tiebreaker.
And it's really 4 because just getting to where they are isn't enough.
Yep.
So it's really 4 in the loss column with Minnesota, 5 in the loss column with Houston, 12 to play. Again, not impossible, but you got to go and win probably 9 or 10 games.
Yep.
And you need help.
Correct. You need the Padres to within 2.5 or 3.5 of the Astros. You can't be 5.5. So you're going to have to win this series. You're off tonight. And obviously, the Yankees, they're 3 up in the American League East over the Orioles. So they are firepower that they bring within their lineup. But you got to win this series. And then you got to hope that the Padres can win that series so you get another game. So you're within 3.5 going to Houston. And then obviously, you got to win that series. And you probably got to sweep that series.
Yeah.
You know.
Almost definitely. Yeah. I mean, when I'm saying you got to win 9 or 10, that's probably got to include 3. I know the wild card is closer. I actually think it's harder. I think that's kind of the bigger point I'm trying to make here.
Even though the Twins play the Guardians for 4, and they got a tough stretch, right? The Tigers, I know they've been awesome, and I get to hear about it from Benetti from behind the scenes. And he's not some fanboy, but man, is he glad he left Chicago.
But you don't get to play those teams. Oh, by the way, you see the White Sox are going to cut salary next year? So the 2 rumors out about the White Sox are that they're going to hire Lloyd McClendon and that they're going to cut salary.
Not. Stop it.
We were talking about that the other day. Where were you? Oh, yeah.
What?
That's the rumor. I heard it a couple of weeks ago from someone. I laughed. I couldn't stop laughing when I heard it. And I had the same reaction of you. Like, obviously, that's not true. Right. No one's going to hire Lloyd McClendon. Like, yeah, he's a serious consideration. Right. Exactly. That's exactly what I said.
This is one of 30 big league teams, by the way.
Yeah.
It's one of 30 big league teams. And you have another one in your own division that's going to be playing in Sacramento.
I know.
Like, what are we doing, baseball? Anyhow. What has been the key? What has been the secret recipe? Has it been Victor Robles? Has it been Julio getting going? Or is it simply Salk wearing the City Connects?
I think it's probably the latter, don't you
Can
think?
you wear the City Connects on the road? Can you take those to Houston and Texas with you? They're going to wear them. They're going to wear them Tuesday, right, Lyle? You sent that little note
Lyle,
to us.
where are you on this?
I think they're good. Like, I know a lot of people when the City Connect jerseys came out, they weren't a fan of the black pants. I actually think they fit the jersey well. I wouldn't be like up in arms if they went to the white pants, but I like the black pants.
Yeah, white pants with that jersey wouldn't really work, right? You kind of.
No, I think the black pants kind of bring the whole thing around. They're supposed to be weird and different and not.
And what are they, Lyle? 16-1? 16-1 in the City Connects?
They're 15-1 in the City Connects. And listen, we know baseball players are superstitious and teams are superstitious. They're at the point in the season now, they're like, it's working. Let's just keep rolling with it.
Yeah, so they're going to wear them like every night now? Home and away, wherever they are, just throw in the City Connects?
I don't know about away. That's a good question. Home, it seems like
wear them. Yeah, I don't know if they can wear them on the road, can they?
Why not? You can wear whatever you want as long as it's not white on the road, I think. Like, I think the home team gets to choose what color they're wearing, but they can wear their blue tops on the road.
Well, you're on the payroll, Salk. Why don't you call in?
You know what? That's a good point.
Seriously,
see what I can get done
text Mr. Stanton and Kevin Martinez and let us know what the answer is.
Well, yeah, I think at this point they work for me. We might as well just go all the way through, right? Yeah.
15-1 in those unis, man. Taking all 3 over the weekend. It is desperation. The back is against the wall. The sense of urgency is through the roof. And, you know, the offense.
I'm not going to look at this. The success is simpler than you're making it. The games don't matter anymore, so there's less pressure, so mediocre players can relax and perform a little bit better.
So I think a lot of guys are fighting for their livelihoods. I think a lot of the guys want to finish strong. I think your pitching rotation wants to kind of.
They're close enough that they still think the games matter. I would disagree with that. I think that is an accurate take at times about teams.
Yeah, if you're the Angels or you're the A's or you're the Rangers or you're totally out of it.
I don't see that for where the Mariners are at right now. And a good point from our friend Ryan Divish listening to the show, who texts in to say, I don't think Lyle should be offering any sort of fashion criticism and what's good and what isn't, given the shorts that he wears.
You know, I was thinking the same thing, but Lyle and I are in a better place, so I didn't want to like totally do that.
Well, we'll let Divish go there. Divish can be.
Divish wears the shorts of a 7-footer. What is he talking about?
Well, he's almost 7 feet wide. Okay, coming up next, we'll give you guys everything you need to know. And then, yes, we've got Mike McDonald, the coach himself, coming up in 20 minutes. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
And I just shot the gap, skinnied up, got my hands up, got a block.
Charbonnet gets the handoff, and he's going to dive in. Touchdown, Seahawks!
Just felt good to win. I think the past 2 weeks we've really shown how close of a team we are when battling adversity. So, I mean, we only going to get stronger.
Dixon puts it down. Myers gets it away. The Seahawks win the game!
We are the home of the Seahawks.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Elshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody, or your sleep is poor, you have low libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Are you interested in investing in real estate in the greater Seattle market, but don't want to manage properties, develop real estate, or sign on debt? Hi, it's Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital, based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 15 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Find out why over 800 local investors have invested over $200 million in our Legacy family of funds. Legacy Northwest Fund returned over 12% in both 2007 and 2008. Are you looking at diversification opportunities, especially with what's happening in the market this year? Get in touch with us today. Legacy's family of funds has a limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or legacyg.com. That's legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investment performance based on average return of LFO1, LFO2, and LSF from 2007 through the date of calculation and after deduction of fees and expenses. Legacy family of funds investments are available to accredited investors only.
Hey everyone, Tom Nelson for Cressy Door. Since 1952, we've been installing garage doors for your home, building, or dealership. If you need Cressy Door service or a whole new set of doors, visit our friends at Cressy Door. Make your next garage door a Cressy Door.
Choose the right flooring for your home, right in your home, with Floor Coverings International. They bring the mobile showroom to you, loaded with samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, laminate, tile, and more, so you can see the flooring in your light, not just in a store or on a screen. They handle every aspect of installation, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Visit FCIFloors.com and book a free in-home consultation. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing. Since 1917.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
This is Seattle Sports.
There's the field goal attempt. It's blocked. And it's going to roll back into the end zone.
The home of the Seahawks.
Hey, pet parents. With Progressive's collision coverage, you get extra protection for your cat or dog, because there's nothing worse than seeing your pet hurt. Like when you see their face after accidentally stepping on their tail, and you say, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Pickles." But as you kiss his nose and rub his little belly welly, you know Mr. Pickles is thinking, "You betrayed me." Anywho, Progressive pays up to $1,000 in vet bills if your pet is injured in an auto accident. Learn more at Progressive.com and watch where you step. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Collision coverage subject to policy terms. Not available in all states.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
John Legend here. How do I keep my protection against COVID-19 up to date? With a COVID shot this season.
You can get your COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Ask your healthcare provider and book at VaxAssist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer. Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
You see how this was a business trip for the Seahawks, Brock? They wore their suits and they looked great and really treated it like a business trip. Well, what do you need to do on this piece of business? Come away with a win, and that's exactly what they did. It was not the prettiest game. It was not as dominant as they were in week one, but they did what they needed to do. Offensively, a tremendous game plan. Ryan Grubb ends up getting the game ball. Defensively, big stops when they really needed it. And then special teams, probably with the biggest difference-making play in the game, cut two. It was Julian Love getting it done.
We've still got a ball game and a chance for the Seahawks to come back and win this thing. There's the field goal attempt. It's blocked. And it's going to roll back into the end zone and out of the back of the end zone. So the Seahawks defense, what they need to do, I believe it might have been either Love or Morris. Everybody's congratulating Julian on the near side. It must have been him.
It was him, and apparently he and Rayshon Jenkins switched places right before that kick. It was his idea, and it worked out.
He just has instincts. And I think, honestly, that's what Mike McDonald, this defensive staff, right, is they came in, Salk, and they evaluated everything. And they had a lot of time to make up, right? One of the last hires in the process is the Ravens are in the playoffs and everything else. And then they don't go to the combine because they got to evaluate everybody on their own team. And then, through the offseason and OTAs and everything else, got to figure out even more who they are and what they are. And I think they knew right away this dude is really instinctive, and he's going to be a key cog in what we do. And through the first 2 weeks, it was a ton of tackles the first week. It was a little more coverage, certainly in the adjustments in the second half. Yesterday, it's on special teams.
On the team in tackles
I know.
Yesterday.
And then super sound in those tackles when he had to erase the big plays. So he misses a tackle, which we've seen some safeties do over the last few years. Those runs turn from 10, 12-yard runs to 50, 60-yard runs, game-changing runs.
I like Mike McDonald's view on this here in cut 4 of just everybody on the team sort of needed to do their thing yesterday.
This is a great example of this game of, hey, when the offense needs to pick the defense up, they did it. When defense could help the offense by getting a critical stop because we weren't able to get the ball to negative territory, we got the stop. So that's what you have to play complementary football.
It was about as complimentary as it's going to get as they end up finding a way to win. Meanwhile, the Niners lose to Minnesota. The Cardinals destroy the Rams, so the Seahawks are alone in first place. They are going to face Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins next week, but worth noting, the Dolphins did make a move on a quarterback. Tyler Huntley, who I like, was signed off the Ravens practice squad. I can't imagine he would be ready to start in that game, though, right?
Nope. That'll be Skyler. Skyler's a good player, and he's been in that system a long time, and all the RPOs, and he'll be better than he was last week where he was thrown into the fire. He'll have a couple extra days because they played on a Thursday. He's not going to be terrible. He's not going to be some of the really atrocious backups that we have seen. Well, actually, a lot of those guys came in won games over the last few years at Lumen Field. So, and they're going to be desperate, and typically they play well when the backup comes in and yada, yada, yada. But for this day and this weekend and to be sitting on top of the standings at 2-0, you could not write a better script to start.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, the Mariners went off script, at least on Friday night. They were playing the kind of game that they've played a million times this year, and then all of a sudden it wasn't, thanks to Julio going yard, big 3-run shot. That turned it around, and they win Friday. Saturday, they win again. This time it was Randy Arozarena, cut 9, walking them off.
And the right-hander's 0-2 pitch on the way to Arozarena, swinging a line shot off the glove of Smith and short into left field. Here comes Robles on to score. The Mariners win it 5-4. Randy Arozarena with a walk-off base hit is getting mobbed at first base. The Mariners win it, their 10th walk-off win of the season.
You mentioned what are they doing different, Brock, you asked. A month ago, 2 months ago, that ball gets caught and turned into a double play.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's just the inexplicable nature of the beast in baseball, but the breaks are going much more their way right now, and you find a way to win all 3 games over the weekend, 2.5 out in the wild card, 4.5 back in the division.
The final 8% of this season, the final 12 games, will play a role in this conversation, but if the season ended today,
okay,
if it was totally over today and you cannot vote a pitcher for most valuable player on the Mariners, who is the Mariners' MVP?
Cal.
Okay, that's fair. Who's number 2?
Victor Robles?
I think
Robles.
it's Victor Robles.
Yeah, Rayleigh would have an argument, but it's probably Robles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, he set that whole thing up, right? It was his double, it was his stolen base. What he has done is a absolute fire starter, right? And he got
100%.
so red hot, and then he hit a valley, and you're like, oh, well, that's Victor Robles. Maybe they shouldn't have extended him. Maybe they needed more time. Then all of a sudden, the last month, he's hitting
I don't remember saying
447.
that, but okay.
Well, I mean, he hit a little rough stretch there for 2, 3, 4 weeks.
I don't remember saying they shouldn't have extended him. And
There were people out there. There were certainly some of. Oh, sure, there's
What?
some of that.
I
like,
don't believe that.
You
That
just
doesn't
kind
sound
of bought high, and he was real hot
people
for 2
are
months.
patient. They know there's ups and downs in a baseball season.
He's in
I don't believe that
447
at
for the
all.
last month. 447.
I don't believe that.
And stealing bases.
Houston starts the series with San Diego tonight. Twins will get going with Cleveland tonight, so you do have some baseball to watch, even though the Mariners themselves will be off.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Brock, I know how upset you are about that final play call for the Husky offense, but what an
Horrendous.
incredible story for the Cougs. Jake Dickert and his just tremendous coaching job. He's going to join Bump and Stacy tomorrow, I think at 12:30, so looking forward to that. I think that guy deserves a lot of credit for many things. What he's done with that program in his time there is awesome, and I think that he's just got a really good sense of what it is to be a Coug.
You know who had to be terribly conflicted, and I think he has been over the months, is Pat Chun. And Pat Chun hired Jake Dickert and made many, many tremendous hires for the men's and women's basketball teams over there on the Palouse. And Pat Chun has been a really good athletic director. Can you imagine being in his shoes? You know, all that transpired over the last year, all of the vitriol that he had in the position he was in for a conference that just left them high and dry and everything else. And then, well, he turns and goes and joins the University of Washington and sits there and watches that team play terrible football. 16 undisciplined penalties. 16.
Think he was regretting his decision?
No, but he had to be incredibly torn for a program, and watching Jake Dickert do everything the right way, keeping guys there, believing. I love that comment after the game. We didn't play out of hate. We played out of love for one another, belief in one another, and you saw that show up and you know, in the game's biggest moment, show out and stand up and get the job done. And Washington just, really difficult and an unfortunate loss for them as they will wrap up this first 4-game stretch in Seattle with a really bad Northwestern team and one of maybe the worst quarterbacks I've watched play college football.
Really?
Oh, gosh. Oh, man.
Really?
Bad. Oh. Northwestern's offense is really, really, really bad.
Aaron Corp kind of bad? Is it that bad? Aaron Corp bad?
Different. Wow. This guy's kind of a dual
Did you
threat.
watch Will Levis yesterday?
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding.
This is not
So
college.
Will has been bad.
Yeesh.
He should be in college.
My
maybe.
guy Anthony Richardson was bad yesterday.
He's
too.
so inaccurate. Jeepers.
You know who else was bad? Bo Nix.
Yeah.
He was bad.
That's everything you need to know.
That's everything you need to know.
So,
and we do that quarter past every hour.
So more on Lyle. What do you guys think? You think Saul texted on a separate text stream me and Daniel Jeremiah about Bo Nix yesterday?
I already told him I did.
Of course.
I just wanted to know whether you thought he was doing well.
I just like how this is going to be like a personal vendetta.
You know
for
who
you.
I haven't texted about it yet because I don't want to be mean.
Zach
Zach
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Zach
I haven't
Bye.
texted Zach at all. I'm letting him just suffer in peace. Mike McDonald joins us next after his second straight win as the Seahawks head coach. We'll talk to him coming up on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to watch the Seahawks host the Miami Dolphins on September 22nd. Just open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter for your chance to win.
In the back of the end zone, DK. Does he have his feet in it now?
You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds will be.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Do it every day, September 13th through September 17th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win.
Holy catfish!
Hey, It's Mike Salk here, and I know weight loss can be a challenge for people. Maybe over the summer, you let it get away from you a little bit, right? It's too many barbecues and fun things to do, and everybody's hanging out, and you look down one day, and your pants aren't fitting the way you want them to, and now you got to get back into your fall clothes. Yeah. Let Eastside Weight Loss Clinic and help. Whether you've got 10, 15, 25 pounds to lose or 50, 75, 100 or more, they can help. They certainly helped me lose 35 pounds in 8 weeks last year. And when I gained a little back this summer, jump right back on the program, lost basically 20 pounds in just 3 weeks. It is an incredibly effective program, and it works because it's not that hard to do. The food tastes great. There's awesome recipes. I just made a really cool beef stew last night that's really good. And ultimately, you buy all the food at the grocery store. It's no injections or medications or anything like it. Please, if you need help, call 425-588-0080 or visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work?
Can you have both?
If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both.
That's right. I'm Anthony with Asset Roofing, and we've replaced thousands of Western Washington roofs. We've replaced all types of roofs, both residential and commercial. We want to help local homeowners replace their roof before winter.
I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. I was impressed by their communication and knowledge. Their quality work and attention to detail made for a very pleasant experience.
I'm pleased to hear that. We strive to deliver a quality, long-lasting roof replacement you can trust and an experience that will give you peace of mind.
Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Lowe's knows to start fall projects, you need reliable outdoor power equipment from Ego. Right now, get your choice of a select 56-volt blower or chainsaw for $249. The 56-volt technology powers over 80 tools, so you can switch from blowing leaves to cutting trees with ease. Save time and money with Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Valid through 10/2. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. Item number 5207558 and item number 4354078.
As fall and winter weather sets in, your lawn becomes a muddy mess, and your kids and pets bring the mud inside. But with Synthetic Turf Northwest, you can have a lush, green yard year-round. No mud, no mess. Their premium synthetic turf systems drain fast and stay clean, no matter how hard it rains. Right now, during the Fall Blitz, you can save up to $1,500 on a new synthetic lawn. So say goodbye to muddy paws and say hello to your dream lawn. Call Synthetic Turf Northwest today or visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com to get started.
This is Seattle Sports.
DK wide open, 10, 5, strides in, touchdown, Seahawks!
The home of the Seahawks.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
I have a handful of stories that really affected me personally in my career and how I handle employees. Lee Johnson coming out of his office as a customer asked me where the service department is. And I was like, yeah, go to the end of the hall, go up the stairs, go across the breezeway, open a door, go to the left. You want Chevy, go to the right. You want Mazda. Because I didn't even have enough time to say, hey, what kind of car do you have? Here comes Lee, and it's like, oh, man, come with me. Let me show you. And then have him come back and not dress me down is just almost like with that fatherly disappointment of like, that's not how we take care of people. I mean, the right way is to walk her down to the stairs, walk her up the stairs, open the door for her, go over, cross the way, open up that door, introduce her to somebody. So she's comfortable, she's made it to the right place, and that we value the business. What you did was you made it seem like she was an inconvenience to you. Customers are the purpose of our day.
The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
It's a work in progress since the day you walk in the door.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
Yes, sir! You like that name, huh? The Mike McDonald Show? You think that's what we should call it?
Yeah, that's surreal. And then the one clip that they pick, it's a process as soon as you walk in the door.
Yeah.
So
What do you want?
you never know what they're going to quote, I guess.
You want something from Chasing Edges or something like that? Should we go more in that direction? The Mike McDonald Show?
No, yeah, hopefully I never get used to it.
Good. All right. Well, you had your first road trip now as a head coach, and sort of this theme of a business trip. What did that mean for you guys?
Yeah, the business trip. That really wasn't. That wasn't.
Maybe this is just on social media.
That wasn't the language that we used. I mean, yeah, it's tricky. You're going east, and then we've done a lot of the studies in the off season with all like what Pete had done. We had tremendous success. So trying to understand the why and the how behind all that, and see if we could replicate it, and then just had to did the studies like that Sam Ramsden set up and had the sleep specialist. So we tried to do all the things, and we won the game, which is great. But you're always looking at I say process and results. It's like, hey, there's some things that we're going to be able to do better. So we haven't been able to get all the opinions and stuff, but we're really going to attack it because it's going to happen another couple times. And I felt like there's some things we can improve on. Just having a hard time putting your finger on it right now, but we'll be able to make some tweaks kind of moving forward.
You like this sports science stuff, don't you?
Well, I like stuff that's going to help with that. First of all, that was weird, Brock, like just hearing you out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like you're this
the voice of
ghost
God
in here.
coming into the dungeon down there. Yes.
Okay, I can see you over here.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. There you go. Hi. Congratulations. But you've mentioned this a bunch of different times. I say this to Salk all the time in my production meetings. When coaches repeat themselves, it's a little tell for me, like especially messaging wise going into a game and whatever. But it's kind of cool to hear you talk about, and you've done this through the OTAs, through training camp, now into the regular season. You do enjoy the sports science element that is really important in this organization.
Yeah, I think we had great infrastructure here from the get-go. I mean, Sam Ramsden does a great job kind of leading his team, and then we have a great analytics crew that we're trying to deploy. And then, great info can come anywhere. And to me, like, if it's going to help us win, then and we can make it part of our process without trying to go crazy and taking a huge left turn, then it's probably worth doing. So I think that's pretty simple, But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, just looking for edges.
You mentioned Brock being kind of a voice in your headset. I would imagine that Ryan Grubb during a game is sort of in the same spot, right? You're not standing next to him. He's up in a booth. I know you gave him the game ball. We got to see the video of that in the locker room. What did he do best in that game?
Man, I thought we had a great plan going in, and then we were able to adjust as the game went on. I still felt like he stayed really aggressive, and I mean, this isn't a shot. Like it was more as a, hey, accept this on behalf of the offense. I mean, you go back. I mean, you can just rattle. I mean, Gino played a tremendous. Watching the tape again, I thought he played a tremendous game. DK had a great game. Jackson had a great game. I mean, you can just kind of go down the list. So it's kind of hard to give one game ball out. So I felt like it was offensive line protected well for the most part. I mean, there's some things we gotta look at, but there's a lot of good going around, So and I felt like we called it. We kind of felt like we were the aggressor throughout the course of the game. So and then just to finish it off the way that we did offensively, I thought it was well earned on his part.
I'm going to get to some grub questions and system questions here in a little bit, but take me back to your first plane ride home. It's a long one now from all the way from the East Coast. It's probably a 6-hour flight home. You told us last week after the win, you had family in. You didn't necessarily watch the tape until the next morning. I'm going to guess on a long flight like that, you probably got to the tape right away.
I got you, Brock. I got you, buddy. I did not watch it.
You did not watch it yesterday on the plane ride home?
No, it's too emotional. It's like I would have been, because I know there's some things popping up on defense. Like I knew I needed to watch with like a clear head,
Okay.
So I watched it, and then so what I do now is I just video guys make like a edit that goes from the first kick all the way to the last play. So I kind of watch all three phases in order.
Okay.
And that gives you a help of like what happens, kind of puts things in context and stuff.
So I
didn't watch it.
But you didn't want to watch it tape?
No, I never do. No, I could pop around and all the coaches are watching it. I don't know how you guys do this. So I didn't talk to some of the players on some of the things, give Spoon a bunch of crap about something. Reek when we blitzed Reek and he missed the sack, he had to hear about that one. So
does Boye have to? Boye spent the entire day in the backfield.
Yeah, the numbers didn't
show for it.
Yeah, the numbers didn't support how he's playing right now. He's doing a really good job, but he needs to finish some sacks, man.
I asked Brock this earlier. Maybe this is a dumb question, which wouldn't be a first for me, nor a last. Does he need to slow down? Is he playing too fast?
No, it's a
dumb question.
I'm not gonna. I mean, you said it.
I guess what I'm saying is there something in those moments where he can pause or needs to do things a little bit differently to finish those plays?
Yeah, I think it's just getting used to it, like being in those positions. Like you can't get close to the quarterback throughout the off season, and so you're trying to win rushes and then trying to be also in position to make the play on the quarterback. So converting to some power, maybe making more inside moves. He brought Jacoby down on the one, but he didn't have it. He didn't have his right arm down. Jacoby just kind of threw it away. So there's some good finishes on there too. It's just I think he did have to end up with one. This was the first third down. That was it, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was telling Salk earlier, Coach, watching these young rookie quarterbacks and watching Caleb last night in particular, you can see that he's just trying to do it the right way, trying to build this foundation, play from the pocket first. He even told Collinsworth and those guys all of that. Is you're going about some of these firsts here, right? Your first home game last week, your first long East Coast 10 a.m. kick, and first time managing through an overtime game and all of that. Does it feel like it's a first for you? Or, as Salk has said before, you kind of have this wisdom. It feels like you've been there before at times with the way you're handling it. Yeah. Does it feel like a first, though?
It's funny. I think that's a great point. It's like, we haven't gone through these things as a whole staff, me personally as well. So, you're trying to do kind of the wisdom of the crowd, what you feel like is kind of best practices as you're going through navigating things for the first time, but then these things are going to evolve, right? Like how we get feel for how we're going to manage the game, especially late in the game. These fourth down decisions, lots of stuff that you're just going through it, and you kind of start to find even just hey, first team meeting with the guys. Hey, I'm giving it my best shot, but that's definitely wasn't my best fastball, since then. So it's and you just try to keep getting better at the things, and it'll become kind of mold in our identity as we go. I think that's definitely a fair assessment for sure.
So the fourth and one decision you made to kick the field goal, 58 seconds left or so in the game. Take me through the decision a little bit, because that's got to be a hard one.
Yeah, sure. It'd been great to get it on third down. It was a little bit longer than it comes down to hey, is it 6 inches? Is it a yard? Is it a yard and a half? That plays into what you're going to call, and confidence-wise of whether to get it. And then only having the 2 timeouts is definitely has a plays a factor. The numbers were about even, analytically speaking. Matter of fact, it actually favored slightly to go for it in that situation.
Do those analytics numbers take into account the new kickoff rule?
Yes,
they do. So knowing that they're going to get the ball at the 30.
Yeah, now you might not get it at the 30, but it's expected start line.
Right.
Yeah. And all the data's in on that either. So like that's going to be an evolving.
The expected start line's got to be a lot farther than it used to be this year. No.
I can't speak for earlier years, but yeah, right now it's around like the 28.
And as good as those numbers, Mike,
wow.
and as good as those numbers, and I've heard this from coaches, how it adapts and it's got every scenario and every situation. It cannot have the 3rd and 1 stuffed. Like it can't have that previous play, right? Reacted immediately in real time, like you've got to do.
Yeah, I mean that's my job, right? Is kind of figure out, hey, what's our plan for these scenarios? What do we have called? How have they been playing us? You know, like there's a lot of factors going on there too, so it's kind of hard to be like, hey, you know, you can't make these like cut and dry decisions all the time. You know, now if they're like super favorable and you feel like you got a good play, then like I definitely want to stay aggressive in those situations, but. For that one, you know, we had a 4th down earlier in the game. Could have gone up 7. We had a really good drive going. I was 3rd and longer. I wasn't really necessarily expecting to get to a 4th and 1 there. 4th run was a go going into the series, and you know, in hindsight, you probably should have kicked it. But like, it's just you can't play this what if game. You just feel like, hey, the process going into the decision was all right. We didn't necessarily move the guys off the ball, which is disappointing, but. Yeah, just, kind of move it, like kind of learn from there and go from there.
Who gives you that information in the moment?
So we know it in the series what we're going to go for. Like they basically Brian gives me the strength of like when it's a go on the chart. And then
Brian who?
Brian Ayers, excuse me.
Got it.
Yeah. So he's giving me that going into the series. And then I'm kind of saying, and then I kind of give Grubb as soon as I can, hey, this is when it's going to be a go. Or think it's going to be a go, or it might be, or hey, I think we're going to punt. And then so Jay's on the same line, Jay Harbaugh, so we're all kind of working together, so we're on the same page going to 4th down. But that, that doesn't just affect your 2nd down or a 3rd down call, it affects your 2nd down call, so on and so forth.
So he's got to know, especially Ryan in that case, has to know what you're thinking about 4th down in order to call 2nd and 3rd down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not fair to be like on 3rd down and be like, oh yeah, after you called it, oh yeah, next play we're going to go for it too. Like that's not cool.
So you guys didn't really know each other before you end up here, right? You guys don't go back 10 years of working together and all that. So what have you guys done to build that relationship, develop that trust here, just in a fairly short amount of time?
Well, it's not easy because defense requires a lot of my time, and because of just we're working from scratch on defense as well. So. We're coming along, but it's still, it's a hefty part of your responsibilities. There's only so many hours in the day. I just think, I really, man, this isn't a shot at like offensive guys, but Ryan has like a really open mind, and is willing. He listens, and he's willing to like scrimmage things out situationally with you, where you're coming from, what he's thinking. It's like he's not afraid to be like, well, I was thinking this, and have it not to be like the right thing, and then me too. So like it's my job to create this environment of like, hey, we're just looking for the best thing here. This is the mentality. We're going to try each other's assumptions and we're not perfect by any stretch, but as long as you have that type of mentality going into those conversations, I feel like you can get on the same page easier. And it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's just like what's right, what's best for us in those situations and how we want to call it. We're working through all those things now. This is going to be ongoing thing throughout the season and into years, moving forward. We're always going to be kind of having all these things are going to always pop up, and you try to just handle it the best you can and apply it as the game kind of goes in. So, I really appreciate like his approach, like just when we have these conversations and having an open mind.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's going to lead to a lot of fun discussion for Salk and I the rest of the week. So thank you for planting that seed in my brain. The other thing, Coach, is you mentioned perfect. Nothing's ever perfect in the NFL, but the sabermetric guys and stat guys tell me that yesterday, out of Gino Smith's 44 passes, not one of them was off target. Not one of them was inaccurate. That's at least, the guys that evaluate and watch their own tape and do all that stuff. But 44 attempts, he did not have an off-target pass.
That's pretty good.
Huh?
Is that good?
I mean, that's unbelievable.
I'm replaying the game in my mind right now, and that sounds right. I can't think of one that I can't find one where it was like, hey, yeah, that was a bad throw. He played a tremendous game.
How does he do that right now at this stage, just 2 weeks into this whole new system for him with Grubb as well?
Well, yeah, I think it's I think it's credit to his approach in the offseason. I mean, this guy has absolutely grinded it out. Just took this thing head on from the get-go, totally bought in taking in the process, the new language. So I think Gino deserves a tremendous amount of the credit here on how he's playing. I mean, we've said his work ethic is just absolutely deliver the ball on time, and the receivers have to be in the right. And there's a lot of things going on too. Like protection's got to be right. This Brock. Protection's got to be right. The guys got to be in the right spots. We got to get to the right plays in certain situations. So everybody is in on that. But I mean, like I said, Gino's right there at the forefront of the whole thing, and he deserves a lot of credit.
Where are you at?
I think we need to run the ball better. I mean, that's like hello. That's obvious. So we're going to be working for that. That's going to be a work in progress. But like, if you would have had the same conversation at the end of the Denver game, you would have said, "Hey, we were fine on our."
Right.
So like right now we're in this. I wouldn't say like in flux, but we're just trying to find, hey, what are the schemes that we can kind of hang our hat on, how we're operating. I mean, this is an ongoing process. I'm optimistic with it. I'm confident that we're going to be able to get it done. Personnel wise, like I thought Stone came in and played pretty well at right tackle. And at right guard, I see it ongoing right now with AB, and Christian probably deserved a few more reps the way he played, and he got edged on the one where Gino got hit on the one that I think Peppers got his hand on. But other than that, I thought Christian played pretty solid. And I thought AB had a lot of really good reps too. So I think we'll look in keeping that competition rolling here.
And how about the flip side of that? You stopped the run at the end of the game, and I love, again, the post-game and the locker room and the credit for the reps and the preparation, and obviously an awesome job by Dotson to pull the trigger and get that done. But overall, in the run game, as you mentioned, post-game, 185 yards is allowed is just not going to be sustainable. Anything jump out on the tape with that, Coach?
I mean, I'll start with me. I mean, just with the plan and the preparation and some of the things that we put the guys in those spots. I can be way better. I can be better. I need to be better on what we're asking those guys to do and give them some looks that we haven't practiced. Mm-hmm. So I deserve as much finger pointing as anybody in that. So I need to improve. And then when you watch the tape, it's just simple. Like applying the fundamental to the situation, alignments, how you're leveraging the block, how we strike blocks. I mean, all the things that showed up in the first game that was positive. I thought we took a step back this game. I think we ended up with like 10 missed tackles, the ball getting out on our edge. It's like, hey, you never make it in this league. It's always it's a week to week, prove it to me. It's like that has to be the mentality. So, but you're right. I mean, it's just 180 yards. It's just makes you sick to your stomach.
Are you harder on your defense than you are on your offense?
You probably know the answer to that. I don't want to say it.
Well, do you in some ways have to be? Because of again, you're forming a new relationship with an offensive coordinator and giving him space to really design his offense as you're spending some time, as you said, a lot of time right now with the defense. Do you almost have to be especially hard on them?
I just think I know defense better. So I'm still learning. Like there's principles of our offense that as a staff and as a team, we're not there where we need to be. So like that's what I'm chasing, the schematics and how we're running all the stuff and how we call the game. Like, that's why we have an offensive staff. That's why Grubb does what he does, and you got to trust those people to do their job. But how we play the game, I would say is equally as important. I mean, the whole special teams is the same way. If we're not finishing in dominant position, if we're not playing with our hair on fire, if we're not sound fundamentally, then I'm a stickler for. I mean, those are the things that we have to make sure that we're great all the time at, and that's what's frustrating. Like it's two parts of the frustration on defense. One, felt like I could have called a better game, could have had a better plan. I did think we adjusted well throughout the game, so give myself some grace on that one. But like to start out, felt like we could have been better, and then. And then there's the fundamental piece too that like doesn't really matter what you're in. It's about how you're playing the game, how you finish plays. We need to take a step in that direction positively as well.
How did the young rook play, thrown in the fire there once Baker goes out with the injury? How did Knight play?
I think he made some plays. He didn't really get exposed in that matter. There's some rookie mistakes that he lost his eyes and played with some leverage that he's going to want back, and he just looks back and says, hey, I've made that play 1,000 times. Just got to go do it, So now that he's done it, now he's seen it for real, live and in color, regular season, I think, we'll see him take a jump here. So there's much needed experience for him because he's been doing it all off season. You've seen him in preseason, but, as you know, it's different when it's regular season out there. Game moves faster, and you just got to be able to go apply your training.
I'm just kind of fascinated, by the way, your first answer. I'm just trying to picture you on a 5.5, 6 hour plane ride. So did you just kind of, pop around to, I think Julian said everyone's like a first class seat, which is really nice. Did you just kind of pop around and sit with all the different guys and mingle with them and mess with Spoon for the majority of the flight?
No, we're just sitting around before the plane takes off. And once it took off, I was trying to watch the game, the Sunday night game. And then I decided not to watch it, and I put on The Last Kingdom. I'm trying to watch that on Netflix.
Wow.
And I fell asleep, so that was good. I'm probably I do all these things and it's like I don't have anything interesting to say,
So
but
good.
actually, AD's wife put me onto that one because I'm obsessed with English history, but. Yeah. Kind of weird guy.
This is one of the fun things about getting to do this every week is just sort of learning a little more about who you are. What have you learned, and maybe we'll leave it here, what have you learned so far about your team?
Man, a lot. All the things that we said we want to be about, there's a lot of positives with it. I mean, the poise that we have, I think we're a connected team. 2 games, these games it's the NFL, these things are going to happen. I'm just really, just the way we pulled the game out at the end, staying poised, making the plays we needed to make after, defensively didn't really put our best foot forward. Offensively, hey, moving and adjusting, the run game, we're still going to have to attack that. But, in the pass game, just kept saying, hey, look, this is our best chance to go win it. This is how we're going to have to go do it. Let's go do it. And guys making plays in those critical situations was just, which is awesome. And that's going to have to happen. For us to have success, we're just going to have to do that on a weekly basis. So we're in the right direction. It's just that's where it is. I think it's awesome to come away with a win going across the country. It's it's not easy. That's a good New England Patriot team. They're just all the things we said throughout the week. I think that showed up on tape. And so you're super happy about it. You're excited. And now you're saying, okay, well, let's come back down to earlier because we got a game. We got to get ready for the next game, which is another really good team. And let's look to take the next step here because it's so early.
What kind of challenges does the Miami offense throw at you?
Well, I haven't got a backup QB. Nothing, no problem. Piece of cake. Easy.
Yeah. Not even close. Brock, not taking that one.
They got some pretty good weaponry over there.
Little speed.
Yeah, we are in Baltimore. We played Miami 2 years ago. We all know how that ended. We played Miami last year, and they're evolving too. They're in year 3 now of their scheme, and so you're seeing the evolution of how they're growing. So you got utmost respect for how they design it with Mike McDaniel and his staff, and then all the weapons around they have. It's just it's a really well built system. It's explosive. I haven't gotten in the weeds yet on all the things, but who started that process, and then I got to join you, find people.
Do you like to go up against a guy like Mike?
Do I?
I'm sure it's hard, but do you enjoy the challenge of some of the going up against some of the good offensive minds?
I don't see it as I don't enjoy it's just you like getting your guys prepared so they can go play.
Uh-huh.
That's what you're that's the. When you have a well-prepared team on Sunday, you're okay, all the crap throughout the week was worth it. Otherwise you're just sitting around staring at the wall throughout the week. That's not getting anything done.
I love the grind.
I feel like Mike's always trying to get me.
I'm not at all. I think everybody thinks I'm trying to get them. I'm not. I'm not trying to get you.
In a good way, I found out a new nugget about Mike. Like a good guy.
Just trying to learn about you. We're just trying to learn who
Coach,
you
we're
are.
all
what
just
makes you
evolving.
tick.
We're all just growing.
I'm an
We're all
open
just
book,
learning.
obviously. You know.
Yeah. Should we talk injuries? I'm going to ask because I don't think I'm going to get much
smart
of an
guy.
answer. Yeah, I learned that one very quickly last week. Coach, thank you. Congratulations. 2-0 in 2 weeks. Pretty
great. Thanks, guys.
There we
Thanks,
go.
Mike.
And we're done for the day as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Brock, the hay.
Oh,
yeah, it's in the barn.
branded in the barn. In
See
the barn.
everybody.
Get to the chopper!